Right? Or I could come in with the arms with me sharpest and sometimes be like, it just depends on the client, though, right? Some of the lights will be like, yeah, I might go faster in with this, but
Yeah.
I know for a client that needs a little more warm up, maybe with the knee first and the foot and then depends on what they like.
You can come put your mat down.
Uh-huh.
Don't be shy. Were you the young lady who wrote me online?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your name again? Presence. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I'm Robert.
Robert.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Hey, Robert, you grab my little socks there.
These?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want them somewhere?
They just toss them into my pile of stuff.
Is this stuff?
Yeah.
Right there. Okay.
Leaving your stuff everywhere.
I still like me. I clean my house and I destroy it. It's like, why did I do that? Put things back where they go. So I think you start, well, first off, you have to see, for me, it's like my pain. So high and so high and then it's exalted so quickly and effectively that like, yeah, it's uncomfortable when I'm receiving it sometimes. It can be a lot. Sometimes be like, okay, Robert, I'm ready for you to move on. And that's all I can take. And it's fine. But then I'm like, oh my God, that's so good, you know? And sometimes I'll keep in mind, like, if I just hold on for a little bit longer, it's like the release is going to be so much better in my neck and I can handle it. You know what I mean? But every day is different, you know, depending on where you're at. And I think also the fact that I've been receiving this style of work for like 6 years, that makes it, you know, that makes a difference. You know, 5.5 years of receiving, you build up to be able to handle more, I think.
How did you find out about the jam?
Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, I never know how people get shown anything because I run enough groups and business pages that Facebook, I don't know why, it doesn't send me notifications anymore. Like I'll have to go search through stuff and it'll be a page and somebody commented and then it's like some comments I haven't seen that have been there for 2 weeks and I'm like, guys, I know that it's possible for you to just let me know that somebody wrote or commented.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
why, I don't get it.
I mean, Facebook's the best. Right? I go to these pages anyway.
Dude, don't get me started. I don't even,
Oh, I got a little,
yeah,
a little stopper. That's like,
well, Kristen and I do this because we work together and she's like, Robert, there's got to be a better way to do this. And she's like, you communicate with me via text, you can communicate with me via Messenger, and then you give me Google Drive links and I can't find anything. And I'm like, Kristen, if you knew what my daily life was like with tech support, you would wish for the problems you currently have. Like, dude, you start trying to connect like Teachable to Shopify via Zapier and all this stuff, it's like a nightmare.
oh, I see. It's not like going to extreme.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just at the beginning, it's like when everything's tight and cold, it's like way more intense, and then as the muscle starts to warm up, it's like way easier to accept and handle. Everybody's all like, yeah, you know, I have to like, hey, Mac, do make it.
I don't know you, Jesse.
Tammy. Well, thank you for joining.
Yeah, I just want to be stuffed on. All the chats come to you.
Story of my life.
Okay, the last one. He loved it. I was like, okay, I needed that. I needed it. Yeah, super like thrilled with everything. How are you? Good. My knees.
Oh,
What you gonna do now?
you can do it anywhere for sure.
I'll
Just put it like, or,
try to get into the pizza.
right there.
That's good.
Actually, you are kind of bony, so you have that massage background. So what you could do also is do more back, I would say back, but more the muscle than I have a friend that's if he first if your client is like, oh, that's.
Do you need some work?
Huh?
Do you need some work?
Yeah, yeah. I love
What do you
that.
need worked on?
Always like left shoulder attachment.
Okay. Let's sit there. All right. You prefer to use your mat?
Yeah.
Let's come over here. It's just because the camera's already set up over here. Have you lay on your side. Just put that arm up. There you go. And we'll bolster you here. You work as a therapist?
Yeah, I practice in the gift, but practicing since 2021.
Yeah. So in other words, you just like gift people sessions and stuff?
Yeah, I do gift based foundation.
Yeah. There we go.
I can tell that you're like behind me. Try coming from above. Try facing your body down this way. Other way. So yeah, bring your body that way. Perfect. And now, so you'll be bringing the pressure down, and so that way you're using more gravity than like you having to work and like use your. Yes. Slightly more posterior. Yeah, right there.
Let me go and grab my keyboard real quick.
Because if ever you're doing
There
this
you
work
go.
and you feel like you're
Hold on a second.
especially if you're working too hard or something to feel it, so you probably just have to slightly adjust your body in the way that you're approaching it, and make it easier for you. Because it's really like lazy.
Usually
With
it's
a
some
non-negative, like,
tenderness
there's
through
no
here.
negative
Yeah.
behind that word lazy.
And then is it a little lower down or
Yeah, it goes all around the shoulder.
all around?
Yeah, it's like all the way down to the shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah, my acupuncturist, like, she cushioned me and then just kind of wrapped me up just where the needles were. And she's like, I'll nap. I nap for like 30 minutes. And then she
There we go.
Pull this out. No, it all feels great.
Really nice. Yes.
Well, I feel like you're so if you
More
were to
down or
just
more
lean into
back?
your room and just like let the body move with the gravity do it. Yeah.
Or down?
Don't fall asleep.
Right there? There we go. Is it too much where my fingers are right there? Okay.
Your little toes too.
And what do you think?
Start
More
on
forward?
your pants.
More back?
I like your pants.
Say it again?
So we're like everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of-
Everywhere is an acceptable answer.
Yeah, I've been doing
You're
a lot
like,
of
all that
computer-
stuff. Do
computer
that
work
more.
lately, so-
And you can also try sitting next to me with like your legs kind of like this. You know, so you're like just leaning in. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm always a little bit above the body. That way you're leaning in because we're going to
Yeah,
this
this one.
way.
This one was like not.
Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah, you're on the right arm.
Please, I do.
Thick. It's okay. Always. Okay. Right there. I don't know if it's good though. I'm just cursing over my workout yesterday. Look at this one. That is thick.
Yes.
The what? Oh no. I don't have any plastic in my bra. There we go. Oh no, that's metal. Ah. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think right there?
Mm-hmm.
Too much? Okay. More to the front, more to the back.
More to the back.
Tell me when.
Well, I'm very, from day one, like, just a general.
Too much?
No.
You're like, nope, not too much. Right there.
Yes.
We give you some rock. Is that a little more acceptable?
Mhm.
There we go.
It wasn't bad. It was SCM or something, maybe scaling. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did some really hard lifting yesterday. Face pulls, bench press work. everything.
You like this hook right here and down?
Yeah.
Is that the main? There we go.
All the pulse is good.
Yeah. Takes time. Let me see if I can get it right there. Now a little bit more to the front, a little bit more to the back. Front, tell me when. Okay.
There you go.
Now if I give you some rock right there, is that too much?
Nope.
Yeah, okay.
Your foot?
Yeah. Is that too much right there? Okay. And again, more to the back, more to the front.
More towards the front.
I said it both ways or in reverse, but right there, cool. Now what if I give you a little more pull right there? How's that?
That's best.
Not too much?
Nope.
There we go. Do you need more?
You could go a little deeper.
A little deeper? And is it a little deeper? Is it sharper right there? Right on this foot? Is that right there? Yes, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure I'm not killing you.
Usually it can handle it pretty.
Well, it's usually like if you got something that I think I'm gonna have to sit there for a minute, is trying to figure out how you can do it without straining.
Thank you, Robert.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Like I said, I think next month I'll check the schedule and post kind of the same way we did this time. But I think we'll do like low back and hips. And then my hope is to get people to come back for like a series and then they have a more general sense of like, the problems people might have that they can help and then they can come and participate in the jam and, you know, keep working at it.
Yeah, I like that. Heck yeah.
Do you learn via video? Okay.
I mean, I can, but it's not
I
my
agree.
preferred method.
Yeah.
Tactile.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say no. So
But you're at a time that works for both of us in like 4 months,
I do, but it's
and then
not
you're
my
gonna start school, and then
Yeah. No, that's fine. I don't take any offense. More to the front, more to the back,
Thursdays. I'm gonna keep Wednesdays.
to the back. Now, what if I give you a little sharper right there? Is that better? What'd you say? Oh, yeah, you don't have to leave. You can ask, or you can just ask me online later. Yeah.
Cool. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
nice to
It
meet
was
you guys.
nice to meet you guys. Now, if I give you just a little bit more length right there, there we go. A little bit of rock.
You feel like you're muscling through that, or are you just leaning?
How have you been?
That's nice.
Been good.
Good.
Yeah, I had a weird like week and a half, kind of like hijacked my entire life, but feeling good on the other side of it, feeling a lot better. It's good. Are you still recording?
No. I don't think so. Are you?
I would never record anything.
So cool.
I would never unleash this and its fury on YouTube. Yeah, it's still recording. I just stopped it because of the.
You stopped it and
Yeah.
started again?
Yeah. They're like, you're not going to put this on YouTube, are you? I'm like, not only will I put it on YouTube, I'll isolate this very clip and do crazy stuff to it and focus on it with extreme detail that'll make you uncomfortable. And they're like, Robert.
Oh,
I mean, I was
like put it to auto-tune.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So more to the back. Okay. So if my foot right there, is that too much?
Nope.
Okay. Do you want a little more?
No, that's the perfect.
There you go. Right there. No more than that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Robert.
I haven't used fentanyl since the last time we talked.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You're good.
Kristen, she does
I
for
hate
all the
when he
years.
jokes about doing drugs.
For all the years we've
I'm
worked
like,
together,
don't
she
do anything, like-
she doesn't understand my sense of humor.
I understand it. I just don't know if other people will. And so then I'm like, Robert.
I work in chronic pain management.
Yeah,
like,
his
you're
diet
pissing
is.
people off on the internet. Like,
Actually, his
that's
diet's more
pretty-
like tequila and beef these days, I think.
Well, but the thing is, what I've learned to do is you hide the ill humor so deep in the video that nobody watches it. So it's like that's
Well,
what's
then
cool.
you know that if they are watching it, and if it is controversial, then that's a good thing. It means they're
That's the
watching.
gold mine.
And people start leaving comments.
Yeah, there was a moment in my life on my Facebook business page. There was a guy who literally every comment I've ever read from this specific person was negative. Like comment after comment, just negative, just generally negative, critical of me, critical of what I do, and he had a top fan badge.
Yeah, he's engaged.
Oh, that's funny.
I knew it.
And I was like, I think in the age of the internet, I've arrived. I have a hater that has a top fan badge.
Because, like, you think about people that devote their lives to, stalking your social media.
Tell me more about the things I do that you don't like.
Yeah, please interacting with my page.
And then up into the neck, how's this? And then what do you think? More to the base of the skull?
Yeah, if I can hear the opposite.
Okay, so I think we're gonna change this up. Lay on your back for me.
Like, what the odd ones are.
How's it going, John? Love your hair, by the way.
Thank you.
I love when women like shave part of their head or have a mohawk or something. Some people are weird, like they don't like it or something. I think they think it's like not feminine or something. And I'm always like, I kind of like women that I'm afraid they could attack me, and like harm me physically. That kind of like puts an edge on it,
I feel like long term, if you do like first back, forward. I always do it,
There we go.
but you figure out what works.
And then from there, do you want like a little more down or a little more up? Okay. Roll your head just gently side to side. Tell me where you want to press.
There.
Right there. There we go. To give you a little bit of pressure. What if I roll you back and forth?
Yeah. So this is one of the things where it's like, when you feel like you're working a little hard, it's like,
Biscuits, yeah.
what can I do?
I do the forearms, actually.
It's like, not necessarily solid.
Like, hitting biscuits.
Mentholatum?
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoking menthols. That's right. At the time massage jam, smoking menthols. That's right.
Yeah, does this menthol feel good?
No.
Do you want me to?
That's the video. See, that's the video. I need to smoke a menthol while I'm working on somebody in my YouTube video, but you just never mention the fact that you're smoking a cigarette just to see how people respond. They're like, that's fucking disgusting.
This little pack that also looks like a cigarette was something I bought from the store. And it has like a little teeny tiny spray ball in it.
I look back fondly on candy cigarettes. That was when we were free. In the 80s when we could harm ourselves. Ride bicycle without a helmet. Trespass. A little bit more towards me. Or a little bit away. A little bit towards. I'm gonna bring you in just a little bit more. Tell me when. There we go. Right there. How's it going, Dow? Good to see you, man. Now, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up. Tell me when. Right there. Now, what if I give you some back and forth? There we go. Ah.
Look at my knee. Look at my leg.
Like, that's where all the stress has been. Like, I had a weird, couple of weeks. I'm like, oh, no. Just runs some collection in this area. It's like, I feel like I've sat just, really shitty posture for so long.
What's your
Oh, Robert, what's your name?
Oh, can you bring me my phone right there? Yeah. I'll just pull it up and you can just scan it. No, it's one of my favorites. kind of lavender. Let's see. Where's it at? Where is it at? There we go.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine.
I mean,
You should put the elbow.
Leave my phone off. Get it back. It wasn't getting QR codes yesterday, so I'm hoping. There we go. Amazing.
Thank you.
Of course.
You can just set it back down over there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Hello. Now, just a little bit back and forth. Are you dead over here? It's the good death.
yeah.
I was telling them earlier, as we were doing the little class, I was like, I've never had a woman get angry at me because I was a massage therapist and knew how to cook.
Nope.
There was like, can you work on my, yes.
Yeah, sure.
Will you make, yes.
Good combo.
Like, oh my God, I love you. Oh, you do for about a month till the rest of the attitude starts up.
Are you talking about
Sure.
me?
No, me.
Okay.
It's like I had to develop skills that overcome my personality.
What's the best way to find out where the events are?
So
So I have on Facebook.
Yeah. There's a page called Thai Massage Jam, which is where we put up the events. Then I have a business page, Robert Gardner Wellness, where I share stuff. And there's an Austin Thai Massage group. So that's where I mean, like, Facebook has gotten confusing. The other thing is, if you go to my website, robertgardnerwellness.com, and download the email, the free workbook, I usually put information in there periodically about stuff as well. It's just, in the current age of social media, it's so hard to give people information because they're sending them to 5 different, yeah.
Maybe after we finish this, I'll probably out. Like, I'm not even on the teaching service. Oh, no. We're looking at other
How did you guys find it this time?
I was on Facebook.
Did you see it in the acro yoga community or something, or
Yeah.
probably, yeah. Yeah. So we're trying. Is today the 3rd Sunday of the month? So we're trying. It may change on occasion. We're trying to do the 3rd Sunday of the month, and then we'll do the partner class from 2 to 4 p.m. and from 4 to 7 is the jam. We're trying to keep it consistent, so that way it's easier for people. I'm gonna let you rest at neutral there for a second. I'll give you some of this.
I've never taken a class in massage.
Yeah.
They both do. Yeah, I know.
How's that? There we go. The goal is to make it as lazy as possible.
Yeah.
The best is when you don't even feel like you broke a sweat and somebody's just like, oh my God, that was amazing. Right there. Is that too much on the forearm? There we go. We'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much. In fact, I'll try to remember too, because I have, okay, no, you didn't sign up through the, okay, I don't have your email. So so do this real quick. Can you text me your email address?
Yeah, I'll text yours because I'm not from
That's fine.
My
That's
phone
fine.
is not. I don't
That's fine. So it's 512. No rush. 905 2298. Yeah, and just text me whatever email address, and I'll have that in my notes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys have a good day. Is that too much in the thumb right there? There. Let me switch to the other side of the neck. I got you. There we go. I mean, the thing is, when somebody asks me how I've been, do you realize how complex a question that is? You mean existentially, spiritually, philosophically? Like in the history of humanity, it's like things are horrible. They're the worst they've ever been. And I'm like, really? Would you rather live 100 years ago? And they're like, well, I'm like, no, you wouldn't.
No, sure wouldn't.
Things are better than they've ever been, and they're also still completely fucked up.
Yeah.
There we go. And then from there, a little more down, a little more up. Tell me when. You're like, more. So, towards me or away?
Toward you. Right there.
Right there. If I give you just a little rock.
Feels great.
There we go. Pressure's all right.
How long have you been practicing?
Ooh, so I got out of school in 2002. God, you're making me feel old. You're not making me feel old, but like, let's put it this way. Less than a year ago, I went on a date with a young lady, and in conversation with me, she said something along the lines of, well, you know, it's older, and I know it's hard for older people to make friends. And I'm like, whoa, I'm 46. When did I just become a fucking senior? Like, Jesus Christ, you act like I just got put in a nursing home. Like, I'm 46, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So I got out of school in 2002.
Okay.
And I think probably, so 2003 is probably when I started working. And then probably in 2004, a year in, is when I was introduced to Thai massage.
Okay.
And then it was like years of table work, facilities, trying to get my feet wet with Thai, trying to figure out package and whatever. And then years later, because it was 2006 when Katrina happened, I think. And then,
Or 2004.
was it 2004?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you remember the date?
2000. No, maybe it was 2006.
Okay. So somewhere in there. But
Yeah.
anyway.
It was another
A
hurricane.
year,
2004.
a year or two. Oh, there's always a hurricane.
Yeah.
A year or two later is when I moved to Austin, and then things started to like shift. It was a different market completely. So I'd been practicing that whole time, but it's only been in the last, let's see, COVID was 4 years ago. It's only been in the last about 10 that it was like die hard focus and like teaching. Yeah. I was doing well enough with clients that I was like, okay, this shit is not available at all. There's no facility that allows people to work on a mat. I'm like,
Really?
oh yeah, there's no.
Fascinating.
In Austin, Zenwell, pretty much it. Yeah, the facilities they don't even, to be frank, I am still regularly told, I don't understand, this is not massage.
I get that a lot too.
And my standardized response has become, great, then we don't need licenses in all 50 states. And
Yeah.
people go, what? But, and I'm like, well, you just said it wasn't massage.
It's really not. I mean, that's been my experience too.
Ugh.
I call it body work now because, like,
Sure.
if I call it massage, people just are like, "This is not that." I'm like, "You're right."
Yeah, I've got other fish to fry. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm over here and my small keyboard, I messed something up, so I'm using the big keyboard to change camera angles. But I make 75% of my income teaching on the internet through 4 camera angles. So
Wow.
it's like when I talk to people about it, they're like, "But people can't learn online." And I'm like, "Are you sure?
The age of learning online.
Are
the
you
age of
are you
YouTube
sure people
University.
can't learn online?
Yeah.
Or do you mean they just can't learn perfectly online?"
They
They're
can
like, well,
definitely
no,
get
but I want in person. I'm like, cool. So fly to Austin and pay me. And they're like, oh, but it's expensive. And I go, ding.
Yeah. So, watch a video.
A little bit away or a little bit towards.
Away.
Tell me when. There we go. So I continue working at it, and I'm grumpy, but in some ways I soften as I get older, and I'm much better about picking my battles.
Smart.
And I go, all right, massage therapists who are my current market for students, you guys have carpal tunnel syndrome and poverty. Why don't we change the service to something that's more effective for chronic pain and heals our body at the same time? And they go, that is impossible. And I go, I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think I have 1,000 hours in my subscription service that shows you otherwise. And they're like, oh, but it's really long. It's like a lot of footage. Oh no, I can't. They're like, there's no, we can't work on a mat, Robert. This is not. I'm like, please tell me. Please say the magic words. But this is not massage. I'm like, yes, great. We don't need licenses in all 50 states. And then I walk off and they're like, oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
What do you think? A little bit away?
Right there.
Right there. Now what if I rock just a little bit up and down?
Feels great.
There we go. And I go, is the goal to give a massage or is the goal to help the client get better? They're like, "Ugh. You're denigrating our sacred traditions." And I'm like, ooh, maybe culture's not your friend.
Traditions are just the practices that we haven't figured out how to improve anyway.
A little bit away,
Right there.
right there, a little rock. Like, what if we could do a better service for pain management? What about a pain management service? Yeah. Like I have a regular student. I love Jennifer Brooks. Jennifer Brooks is in Washington State. She's like starting to teach. She's like, Robert, I don't want to call it Thai massage. It's not Thai massage. And I go, okay. So I'm working on a trademarked name. And she's like, well, how are you going to explain to people, that it's not Thai massage? And I went, I'm never going to escape Thai massage because Thai massage is the foundation.
Sure.
But what happens when you're a Westerner who's never been to Thailand and a Westerner who's never been to India, and you looked at Thai massage and yoga and started mixing and matching and blending and helping yourself and your clients with musculoskeletal pain? And I go, Jennifer, we're going to have a graphic designer make a piece of art. And that piece of art is going to have a seed in the ground and it says Thai massage and yoga. And a sprout is going to come out and it's going to hit the sun and the leaves are going to unfurl and it's going to turn green and the petals will come out and say next level pain relief. And she was like, oh my God. I'm like, guys, why do y'all think I'm like dumping on Thai massage? Like, no, like I love Thai massage. It was just, why do you keep trying to box me in?
That's how the old world works.
I'm like trying to set people free here. Why we gotta, I don't know, reinvent the wheel?
What's your feeling?
I was in a class with like 24 or 30 therapists in it at a conference in El Paso. And I was teaching Thai style foot massage because I learned my lesson. I don't call it reflexology because they get angry and think you're stimulating their liver from their feet or something. Yeah. And I said, all right, guys, listen, in Thai massage, it's Lom and Sen. And in Chinese medicine, it's meridians and Qi. And in Ayurveda, it's pranas and Nadi. I said, which of those is correct according to modern medical science and research?
None of them.
And somebody said loudly, all of them. And I just said, I didn't turn to look at them. I didn't make eye contact. I said, that is not how science works. And I said, now what we're doing to the bottoms of the feet is we're stretching them. I'm like, guys, come on now. Come on now. I'm not getting rid of the traditions. It's just like, what's the explanatory model? Like, can we update things? How's this right here? There we go. They're like, what about the send lines? I'm like, the send lines are a simple map that a teacher gave to a student and said, go do 1,000 sessions. And they're like, oh, no, they're magic lines. No, they're not. No. Sorry. Sorry. That's not how it works. It's a simple map that a teacher gave to a student. They're like, no, they're magic lines. And I'm like, no, they're not. There are no magic lines. That's it. Next level pain relief. There are no magic lines. That'll be our subtitle. Like, what do you call it? We'll trademark that, whatever it is. There are no magic lines, whatever that is. Like I tell Kristen, because she's teaching, I'm like, I still teach send lines constantly because they're a good like frame of reference for like where to apply pressure. Yeah. But I have been inside it so long that it's like it makes more sense in context. It's like when people are getting overwhelmed about like people have to know anatomy, and I'm like,
No, you didn't.
why? Why do they need to know origin and insertions? I'm like, okay, hold on, but they can also just go Google that.
Yeah.
Arm muscles. Now review. It's like no, but you know, the anatomy. I'm like, cool. All right, so let's talk about the anatomy you really need to know, which is cutaneous and subcutaneous nerves. And they're like, what? I'm like, no, we don't really work on muscles. All we do is stretch skin. It just delivers a unique stimulus into the person's nervous system so that they respond through relaxation and pain relief. And they're like, no, but like the muscle. And I'm like, no, the muscle only does what the nerves tell it to do. The nervous system is primary. And they're like, fuck you. And I'm like, okay, fuck me. Next. It's like, I'm not saying the bicep isn't important. I just think you're making a big deal out of skeletal muscles when you don't need to. How's that right there? Like, now quiz me right now. Hold a gun to my head and be like, what forearm extensor is this? And I'm like, I don't know. I go look that shit up. I don't remember. There's like 6 of them or something. It's like, it's complex, man.
Same. I don't care about that. Just feel what's going on in someone's body, and I do my best with it.
You're not wrong.
Well, the funniest is over the years with a jam, if I give you just a little more in here, more towards me or more away?
Actually, more towards you.
More towards me?
Right there.
There we go. The massage therapist, this is a generalization. Over the years, massage therapists would come to the jam and they were exceedingly uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. They could learn from me for free, receive work for free. And they were like, we don't like this. And I go, okay, why do you not like that I'm giving away body work and education? And they're like, no, you're teaching people who are not licensed. And I'm like, but nobody's charging.
Yep.
So what's the problem? And they're like, well, this is a sacred knowledge that we only give to people who've gotten a license from the state.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys know that partner massage exists, right? Like they're not going out and charging. They're just learning how to work on their friends. Like,
Yeah.
good God.
Yeah.
They're like, I want an official CE class. And I go, give me $500. And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here we go.
The system of money is silly.
I mean, you know, necessary, but
Sure. A part of the game right now.
but is it like I've had people tell me that I'm too money focused, and it's like, no, money just allows me to get stuff done. Like, it's not because I'm Scrooge McDuck and I want to swim in my money. Like, I don't have to, like, so what? It's like, I just want to be able to buy food when I need it and pay rent,
Yeah. Fair enough.
especially in Austin. Where are you from originally?
The Bay Area.
Bay Area?
Yeah, in San Francisco. Like near to San Francisco.
I-
I've
I-
lived all over.
You've technically moved somewhere cheaper, which is not that
Yeah.
common. Yeah. Because Austin's prices
It's
keep going
pretty
up.
wild here, though.
Yeah.
It's like
Little-
not
A little more away.
cheap. Right there.
There we go. Yeah, a little more up.
Yeah.
There we go. And what if I rock?
It's great.
There we go. Like you can give stuff away and still get criticized. I'm like, nice. This is awesome.
Yeah.
The only thing is I'm kind of grumpy that way. It's like the only thing worse than criticizing me is like telling me I can't do something. I'm like, oh, ooh, I like this challenge. I can't do what exactly?
Yeah.
Like you can't. I am like, can't what? Like these people are doing massage without a license. I'm like, they're not charging.
Like people aren't allowed to touch each other.
Yes, that's right. We own touch.
Yeah.
We've relegated this piece of skin. Who owns this? Like, get out of here. Come on.
Go away.
Oh, it's seeing massage therapists. Oh, it's hilarious. This is the one that gets me. Cuddle therapy. And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, really? What'd they teach you about cuddling in school? Like they're manipulating soft tissue, and I'm like, ooh, okay. You're gonna have a hard time defending that in court, but congratulations, you got your legal work cut out for you because you want to regulate cuddling.
It's wild. It's a wild thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just so many interesting little pieces. I just kept my nose to the grindstone, kept building, working, finding those who agreed, and that's really the process. Wound up with a bunch of renegades in a room who just showed up and started working on people.
It's the way it should be.
One of my favorite memories was, dude, I used to, pre-COVID, because there was a point in time we had the jam once a week. So I would show up and it would be like 5 hours from like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, till 1 o'clock, 8 till 1 in the morning or something. And I would show up every week. And there was one week, dude, I had like 2 clients that day. I was exhausted. I got to the space, it was this facility, but it was another studio. And I set up the mats and like put the blanket down and I like laid down and fell asleep. I fell asleep like 30 minutes into the jam. And when I woke up and looked around, everybody was just working on everybody. I was like, see, this is what I like. It's not me. It's just them showing up doing their thing.
Yeah.
How's that right there?
Okay.
There you go. You think you need more in the upper back in there?
No, this side is pretty.
Okay.
That's pretty neutral.
But what about the left side?
Good.
Okay. Do you need me to get more like in the back on both sides though?
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
That would be
There we
amazing.
go. So yeah, you learn how to polarize the audience. Like, we don't like you, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna tell other people we don't like you, and I'm like, well, if they're like you, I don't want to hang out with them. So
Yeah, that's just fine.
Raising your feet up will take the time.
That works for me.
but don't you understand? We just told you we don't like it, and I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know why you think your opinion is so important, but all right. Oh, gonna move the fan here. Come around. Oh.
Let's go for 1 second. All right, now we're good. Help a little bit? Yeah. Try to lift them up.
Yeah, I can't imagine growing up in Cali. I've been to the Bay Area and Northern California. I haven't been to Southern and like LA. They tell me they're always like super, super different.
They are.
Totally different vibe.
Yeah.
And do you think lower than that?
Just a touch.
Just a touch lower? What do you think?
Yeah.
Head back for me? There we go. See if I got enough bolsters here. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I don't even know like socially how things would be out that way.
Los Angeles is the culture of artifice.
It's a culture of artifice.
Yeah, it's like lots of masks
Yeah.
everywhere.
How's that right there? Is that too far back on your head?
No.
There we go. Right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a lot of people who want to be in the industry. Lots of actors everywhere.
Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah. Whereas
Interesting.
The Bay used to be real gritty, but now it's like all tech money. So it's like
Nice.
young people on the spectrum, mostly.
Young guys with Asperger's.
Yeah,
Nice.
really.
Yeah.
I went and saw Neil Brennan last night, and he was talking about that. Neil Brennan, I think he's one of my more favorite comics at the moment. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think it's his intellect, like observing society at a distance. But he's not angry like Bill Burr. He's just sort of like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on? I watch too many documentaries. Right there.
Actually, maybe a little lower.
A little lower? Okay, hold on just a second. There we go. See if I can adjust you here. But bring it up and forward. How's that?
So they'll still be fine.
Okay.
Whee! Roll on.
And what do you think there? There we go. We'll tuck that in a little bit. There we go.
Whee! There we go. Woo! Yeah, guitar strings are pushing me around.
Yeah, there was a massage therapist years ago. They contacted me and said, this guy is going out and like doing Thai massage without a license.
There are no Thai massage licenses.
And I was like, okay, so like what's the deal? And they're like, well, he took your class. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Anybody can take a class with me. It doesn't mean they can just practice without a license. Like,
Not if they call it massage.
did you, and this is where it gets weird legally. I go, did you report him to, and she's like, yes, I reported him to the state board, but they won't do anything. And I go, so why are you calling me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the massage police.
By the way,
Like,
you did amazing work. He was the person I trained with when I first became into the Thai massage. He was so fantastic. Yeah, he's so amazing.
and then she's like, but he's, practicing without a license. And I'm like, okay. Again, I iterate, it's like, I don't assume that he's hurting people, but that's not my purview. Is that too much right there? That is not my issue. Policing massage across the Texas landscape. I'm not Walker, Texas Ranger for body work.
No, I would never think that he would ever hurt you. He's so good at communicating. Such good body work.
Move just a little bit higher. And let's see. So a lot of tech money. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Very, very gentrified.
There you go. How's that? Yeah, Austin is like, and continues to change since I moved here. I don't necessarily think it's bad. It's just, I can understand why people who grew up here are just like, man, it's not the city I grew up with.
I mean, in the 16 years I've been here, it's not the same city.
Head's not too far back. Not as good as that lower spot.
Still good though. It's working stuff out. Like lots of energetic release.
Energetic release? What? We only talk about the nervous system here. We can't be moving around energy. What, are you gonna start talking about chakras and energy centers now? Nadis and prana and Ida and Pingala and open up the central channel of Sushumna? I don't think so. It's like I had a former roommate, went to school for acupuncture, and he had seen me many, many times as a client. After he started studying in school, he said, "Robert, do you feel chi running through people's bodies?" And I'm like, "Eh." And he's like, "God damn it, Robert, you do." He's like, "I've had your work. You feel energy running through people's bodies." And I go, "Eh." He's like, "God damn it." He's like, "I've worked with you, God damn it. I know." And I'm like, "No, I just feel tension, man." And he's like, "Nah."
Well, it doesn't really matter whether you do or don't. If you're helping people, it doesn't matter what your perception is.
Well, it's almost like I don't think there's any functional difference to the work itself. It's just the explanatory model. Like I can sit. Kristen doesn't get this because I don't go there. I just talk about taking fentanyl. She's like, they're like, "What do you do to keep your energy centers clear?" I'm like, I find that a steady diet of fentanyl really just levels that shit out. But I can have the conversation and I understand it in almost like a Joseph Campbell comparative mythology sort of way. But it's like when they try to make it like fundamentalist, like a literal physical manifestation, and it's like, it just gets a little weird to me after a while. It's like I used to have in my studio, I had pictures of like some of my more influences and teachers, and I had a little icon of Jesus, and it was the Catholic Jesus with the glowing heart. And I said, "You guys know that the Sacred Heart of Jesus is the heart chakra, right?" And they were like, "No, that is not what that is." And I was like, "In Christian iconography, the halo, you guys know that that's the crown chakra, right?" And they're like, "No, that is not what that is." And I'm like, "Okay, what we're doing to the feet here is we're..."
Just grab that.
It's like, "Okay, guys, it's not the same thing." Correct. All right, good. We're good to go.
Sure.
Good to go. Whatever suits you best, makes you feel good.
Need to believe.
I mean, we're in, how long you been in Texas?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Oh, okay, not long enough. So, like, people in Texas will argue almost near violently about what kind of wood you should use to smoke brisket with.
Yeah, I believe that.
And somebody goes mesquite, and they're like, so here we go. They're like, post oak, only post oak. And I'm like, all right, here we go. What do you think right there?
Yeah.
Now, is it more right side or left side? And left side, if I bounce right there. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's hard.
I just have a hard time running through the landscape, lining up chakras. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the opposite. I'm like the hippiest bitch on earth. I do chakra alignment. I do all that stuff.
They're like, I'm cracking open a Pabst Blue Ribbon. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm aligning my chakras right now.
There you go.
God damn it, Robert. You just won't conform.
Nah, you're just following your actual bliss. I respect
What's that? Good. I was hoping so.
They're like, "Robert, have you ever felt your energy center?" I'm like, "Well, one time when I took this ecstasy at the State Palace Theater in New Orleans before the crack statute at that rave, something woke out and squirted out the top of my head. I swear it did." And they're like, "Robert, God damn it."
It'll be sore in there.
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, this is the problem. Like this one's the one that clicks and like all of that.
Is that too much pressure or too sharp?
Back on
There
that
we
one.
go.
Back on your back.
Brett was the best because she's like, "God damn it, Robert, I know you." He's like, you got to all those opinions because all the hallucinogens you took in college. And I go, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Totally. Why
I
not?
like Brett. He's funny.
Why not?"
He's traveling the world right now.
Is he?
All I see are his posts like doing acro. And different
Oh no
parts
no,
of
this is another Brett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, this is another
Right,
Brett.
fine. I was like, he's always
Yeah.
somewhere. Doing yoga on like a cliff. Or acro on a cliff.
I would get so frustrated with students.
I received
I'd be in a class and I'd say, I'm trying to remember how it came up initially.
Just a little bit and open and
It was like, because they'd ask me about theory, and I'd go, okay, hold on, I've been doing this for a long time, guys, and I want everybody to quiet down. I'm gonna give you the real secret. After all the years I've done this, I'm gonna dispense it in as brief a statement as I can. Is everybody ready? I want you to pick up the client, move them around, find the tension, and release it.
Yeah.
And they go, "Aw," and I'm like, you guys are making it way too complicated. I'm like, okay, let's go a little further. All right, so listen, we're all gonna take 500 micrograms of LSD. We're gonna close the door and we're gonna think about what is Thai massage for 12 hours. When the class is over, I don't think I'll be any different, but I can't say the same about you guys. God damn it, Robert. God damn it. You're so fucking ornery. God, yeah. You just won't give us what we want. Is that too much right there? I'm going to move just a little bit higher. Right there. There we go. Still left side? There we go. They're like, why can't you just answer a question? And I'm like, I was a philosophy student. Are you familiar with Socratic ignorance? Like I was weaned in debate. Do you want to sit down and click? Because they'll ask me a question and I'll answer their question with a question and they're like, fuck you. Like, we want you to tell us. And I'm like, the nervous system is primary. Everything we do is putting a stimulus into another person's nervous system. No. And I'm like, okay, you can debate if you want. You're going to lose. But I believe in energy centers. I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess I sort of do too. I just interpret those things differently. Right there. If I rock on the other side, or is it better if I rock on this side? Left side. There you go. It almost gets to this point. They're like, you can't just freely roam the landscape helping people. And I'm like, you mean like Jesus? Does that make you guys angry somehow? Like, what part of me helping people is it makes you so upset? Let's figure that out. Let's think about that for a little while. I got reported to the state board. It's a long story, but the lady reported me from an online class. She's never met me, never been in an in-person class with me. I said something on the internet she didn't like. So she reported me to the state board, and in the state board complaint, it said he compared himself to Jesus. And I was howling laughing because I'm like, lady, that might make me an asshole, but it's not illegal. Right there. I'm going to change my angle just a little bit. If I come in right there, how's that? Okay. Or is it better if I come in more at an angle like this? Okay. If I bring you over, give me a second. Right there, how's that? Is that too much? There we go.
No, I get in the water at the end and I float down.
so of course I'm sure you know this one. Lots of water and
Yeah, water. See compression.
Yeah.
You're basically like,
Appreciate y'all.
Certainly.
I need to find a better word for it. It's almost like you're in a cracker, right? You're like,
Yeah, it's like,
right? And you do
Now,
that like the
a
calf.
little bit more point right there.
In the calf, but
There
in
we
the
go.
quad with the quad that size, it's just the fact you don't have a lot of weight behind you. Yeah. But if you were on something smaller, then you would be perfect. You'd be perfect. You know what I mean?
It was like a lot more
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like everybody can be different, you know?
Right, Cass?
Yeah. Perhaps, other areas of the
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get this.
I'm down to learn. I'll watch.
Yeah.
So I love when Robert does this stuff.
Yes. Rose techniques.
Anyone has like a
That's it. Illegal massage techniques. That'll go good on YouTube. Yeah. And they're like, why is this illegal? And I'm like, I don't know. I just thought maybe it'd get people to watch it. Makes a good thumbnail image. That's it. And that's the thing. I got to get at the editor. They take a photo of me, but they put a halo like above me and like angel wings or something. And then it talks about like energy healing in the thumbnail or something. And yeah, something's crazy.
Yeah, play that.
First job. Just writing.
You know what's interesting? So I still put out like regular bodywork videos, and I mean they do okay long term, but they don't go like viral. You know what I mean? I get a lot more attention these days and comments from my poker videos and like my review videos for like liquor and tequila and beer and whatever. So it's hilarious because I'll release like a tequila review and people are like, "Yay! Finally, yay!" It's like there's like thousands of bodywork videos and there's one lone Yahoo on the internet who's like, "Yay, tequila review!" And right there we go. So no, there's not been so when I post videos of Kristen and Danielle, way less flack. Because even if they got attitude, they translate my stuff in a way that's like more, I don't know. I mean, I have to assume what the public is doing, but basically, even if Kristen said the exact same things I do, they go, Kristen's hot, she can get away with it. Yeah. So my social media has been less polarizing. Yeah. And then the poker videos are hilarious because they tell me how bad I play.
How's that back feeling? Starting to feel a little better?
What back?
No, what back? No.
Yeah. I haven't separated them because it's like, well, it's like as complicated as social media is, do I really want to like diversify channels at this point? I'm just like, good God.
I used to do the diversification strategy and it's changed to manage.
Well, I think my status with bodywork and social media became, it was easier to just show people what I do than to pretend. So it's like, why is he doing a coffee review? And I go, okay, well, when I eventually go to South America and go to Colombia, because I want to see where the coffee is processed and washed, like Tony Bourdain, they're like, oh. I'm like, when I eventually go to Oaxaca, Mexico, and sample tequilas and mezcals and go to the distilleries, and they're like, oh. I'm like, I got plans, yo. What are you doing? They're like, I followed this channel for massage videos. Now I'm getting poker. I'm unfollowing. And I'm like, this is not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. Like, good Lord, people. You people. Like, what is going on? Like, can't you just ignore? Jesus Christ. We had Donald Trump as a president, for Jesus fucking Christ's sake. Good God. You're worried about my massage videos on YouTube? Good night.
Sorry.
So depending on where you run to, if you're running on like streets, being mindful if the road is curved down. Because if one foot
Big in breath.
is hitting lower than the other,
And exhale. I was like, oh, she lost change. No, it was a necklace or something. And big in breath. And exhale. How's that? Better? Good. Glad we could line all your chakras. Put them where they need to be.
Your sound practice is very different than how I was trained.
What practice?
Like I was trained in like the way that you practice. Fascinating.
What do you mean?
It's completely new to me, like all of the technique.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
100%.
No, I didn't know. Like, did you study in Thailand?
I trained with a woman who was formally trained in Thailand.
Yeah.
So I've trained in like formal.
And then was it like very sequential?
Yeah.
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 Like, nah, that's not.
Yeah, I could tell that's
Once
not how
I
you
got
roll.
No. And the thing is, there's a big debate in curriculum because I teach students sequences, and then they want to improvise. And I teach them to improvise, and they go, "Well, what's a sequence?" And I go, "I wrote 700 pages of sequence manuals and 9 DVDs to get them started." And they're like, "This is too long." And I'm like, "Mastery will take a lifetime."
Yeah, that's how mastery works.
And they're like, "Aw, but can you show me how to work on their arm?" I'm like, "Absolutely, let's go ahead and work on the arm."
Yeah,
And they're like,
totally.
"But how did you know?" And I'm like, "I asked her." Like, their arm hurts. I'm not gonna. This is America. Their arm hurts. I'm not going to work on their feet and talk about the feet are the energy center or the base of the body, and it's like all your manifestations energetically are starting at the base of the feet. It's like, no. Americans are like, my shoulder hurts. Why are you working on my foot, asshole?
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
yeah. But the sequences have a place, but I think the students, it's just like Senline thing. They think it's the end instead of the beginning. It's like, well, no, the sequence. And I'm like, no, there is no magic sequence.
Yeah.
The magic sequence is like me connecting and working on
Connecting
you
with the person sitting in front of you.
and going, how do you need a little more right there or a little? And it's like every time I did that, it like the sessions got better.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. It was weird to me because it felt like the traditional Thai massage community kept looking at my work and going, well, that's not traditional. And I'm like, I'm a white guy from South Louisiana of Scott-Irish ancestry who now lives in Central Texas, who's never been to Thailand. What does Thai massage look like in the West? And they're like, no, tradition. And I'm like, hold on. Let's be reasonable here. If we're going back to tradition and the Buddha, like the Buddha didn't have antibiotics.
Yeah.
Like, does that mean antibiotic? And they're like, no, tradition. And I'm like, ooh, guys, like, what about evolving traditions? Like, it's like, and that's not to step on traditional practices or anything like that. Like, I don't think if I went to Thailand and hung out with Bichette, for instance, I don't think he'd do anything except looked at my work and go, oh, good. And it's like, but it's interesting because I've done enough research, and I heard Sean McKern talk about this one time in a podcast, and he's like, Bichette doesn't practice traditional Thai massage. And I'm like, come on. And they're like, well, he's the master. They let him change it. And I'm like, ding. It's like, because he's not teaching sequences because it's not necessary in the same way. The sequences to me were just to get them started.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like a kata, like this is how you use your body.
Yeah.
But once you started practicing, it was more like a martial art. It was like, take them out. Like, because sometimes, like I've had to do this with Kristen because I'm 5'10" and she's 5'4". So I have to change things where it's like, it's not that what I taught was wrong. It doesn't fit her body. And my practice always comes from my physical expression. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
I'm working on the boots right now.
And then trying to, like, I can explain to students why I choose to do certain things, but it's always like, I hate to say this, but it's like I'm having to develop new, shorter sequences to show them how to work on specific problems. And I know what happens when you teach sequences. they're gonna go, but this sequence doesn't fit. I'm like, every client. It's like that,
Yeah.
like, you know, yeah.
And then I went to
Yeah,
college for
it's
the next day, and I was like, well, I
How long
can't.
did you study with your teacher? Was it out west?
So yeah, that was in this little town called Nevada City, in
Nevada
California.
City? Who was it?
Her name's Janice Gagnon.
Gagnon? I've heard that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's practiced for like 25 years. She's
Yeah.
deep in it. She's the Western holder of like an underground Thai, like female Thai, like a matrilineal lineage called Japsen.
Yeah.
It's all about like snapping, twanging nerves,
Yeah.
called nerve touch. And you're just
Looking,
like,
yeah.
but I studied with her for like I did her full. She has like a training course that she does like 245 hours. So I completed that, but I've repeated a couple of the advanced training with
Then,
her.
now that you
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's deep in the like the reason why I say I'm like super ass hippie is because like I really do like I do send line magic work where it's like people come out of it and they're like I feel like I just took a mushroom and I'm like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So but at the same time, like I think I'm at the point in my I've been practicing since 2021, but I think I'm at the point in my journey where I'm starting to like look out of just what she teaches. Like I
Yeah.
started in her foundation, so
Yeah, even if you have a foundation like that,
Yeah.
you can, like I tell students sometimes, like I wrote stuff in a way that they could leave my curriculum and go to somebody else.
Sure.
Because they're like, you're not teaching, this isn't real Thai massage. Like, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine.
yeah.
And then go study with them,
Yeah.
and then they'd go, shit, like,
healthcare.
I don't really think this is as good as what Robert teaches. Like,
Sure.
fuck. Like, because they feel like, well, this is traditional, and it's like, I think a lot of it is like a cultural context. Like, I would never go to Thailand and be like arguing with somebody. Like, you know what I mean? That'd be like, I'm from Louisiana. That'd be like arguing me about how to make red beans and rice. I'm like, whoa, I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I know how to make red beans and rice. Like, but it's those sorts of things. The other part is, like, there would be conversations that would come up. Because I don't know if Japsen is considered like northern style or southern style.
I'm all
All northern, yeah.
it's all northern.
So in having conversations in the West about northern style and southern style is like, what? I was going to go teach in New Jersey, and there was a thread online. This was hilarious. There was a thread, and basically what happened was this guy wrote me or wrote on the comments, and he said, hey, do you teach northern style or southern style? And I said, okay, there are debates about what that is. My teacher traveled all over Thailand, just kind of threw threw it all at me and like kind of encouraged me to use my body and start to improvise and communicate with clients. She wasn't really forcing me to adhere to tradition.
Yeah.
We were just trying to do good body work, help people. And I was like, what do you think, northern style and southern style means? Because now I can clarify. And he's like, well, I took a class in southern style and they made us chant for 3 hours before we did any body work. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, now it's a little more clear. Technically, my style is probably a blend of a little bit of northern and southern style in the West. And I commented, I said, I think it's a new style. I call it Dirty South. And my students were like machine gunning likes, like, yeah. And it was like a Little John video, But the thing is, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, it's not just a question of like, how did the tradition become the tradition? It's like, what does the tradition become from outside influence? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing ever stays the same. Like, that's why I'm in that boat too. Because I like practice Thai massage, but I do it in my own way. I'm at that point where I kind of like, and I also do all sorts of other shit. I'm like singing. I'm like, like I'm everything I've got gets thrown.
Yeah.
I do, therapy in the beginning.
I've had a couple teachers that, like, for whatever reason, I have an aptitude where I can study with someone and take what I like and integrate it super fast.
Yeah, it's the way of the new.
And then go my direction, and the teacher's like, no, you can't. And I'm like, I can't what? And they're like, fuck you, you're like stealing. And I'm like, no, hold on, bro, hold on. Like, I'm not trying to adhere to your perfect form.
Yeah.
Like, I have an idea of where it'd be like a musician.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's like music doesn't belong to anybody. Neither does time. Nothing belongs to anybody.
It's like, to me, it was like, this is me personally. I had questions come up because people were like, they were almost like, are you culturally appropriating Thai massage? And I'm like, hold on, wait a second. How is it not me giving homage to a tradition and encouraging the tradition in the West, and encouraging students to go study, and encouraging growth? Like, this isn't a detraction. Like, that was never, you know.
Cultural appropriation is a concept that is only in the West. Most places you go where you go, like, I'm a pretty prolific traveler.
Yeah.
Like, you go places and you put on their traditional clothing, or you like do what they're doing, and they fucking love it. They're like, yeah, take our culture, go take it back to the US. Go.
Yeah, it's just yeah,
US is the
it's
only
just a
place where that's
weird,
not okay.
like, I'm very willing to have the conversations, but I noticed after I did the first 2 workbook and DVD sets, intro and table tie, was when it started. And then I just got my chops writing. And when I wrote the phase 1 workbook, which was continuing the mat work, I noticed that I kept running into like quotes by Bruce Lee that had like some resonance.
Yeah.
And I don't have a martial arts background. I do some yoga, but that's not the same.
Yeah.
And when I would look at what he was saying, it was like, oh man. So Bruce was like, I guess, half white, half Chinese. So he wasn't fully accepted by either culture. And then he was practicing Wing Chun, which is a traditional martial art. But then he took the footwork from fencing and then some grappling and developed his own style called Jeet Kune Do. And he kept talking about like going past or beyond tradition, like the ultimate, you know, like honor was to like change it and develop it, you know, like to get rid of what's useless and to use what's uniquely your own or whatever. And I would start thinking about that, and I was like, I felt like it was the progenitor of some of what I was dealing with, because my work was more like mixed martial arts than it was Muay Thai or Judo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It was like I was combining things as I found it to be able to help myself and my clients. And the clients loved it. It was always the massage community or somebody who was like, you're not following the... I'm like, the rules have gotten us to the point where we're at. It's super fucked up.
Yeah.
Why don't we do something different? And they're like, fuck you. Yeah.
I am fully with you.
Yeah.
Fully with you.
So yeah, it's like at this point, if I know someone teaches Thai massage, like I basically tread lightly and avoid them. I'm just like, the Thai massage teacher is just about like, is just below Charles Manson on the crazy scale at this point. Because I've run into enough where I'm like, dude, I'm tired of arguing with you people about everything. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, even with my own teacher, I have to tread lightly, like telling her how I use it, because you know she's like a deep traditionalist. I mean, because she cut her teeth in Thailand, you know, for like I think it was like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And still has like deep connections to Thailand, and so it's like, you know, I don't tell her that I sing, and I don't tell her about any of the modifications that I make, because she just like, you see the darkness come in, and you're like, okay, okay, we just don't talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about it sometimes because I've done this to teachers before where I've gleaned some information and integrated it, and then you can tell they get angry because it's not in the pure form or whatever. And it's like, I've never, at this point, I can't think of a student who's taken information from me and like used it and gone like a different direction where I've gotten like annoyed. Like I kind of want them to do
Doesn't
that.
seem like you would get annoyed though, because of who you are. Seems like you would be actually like kind of stoked to see the creativity of it all.
Well, I mean, Kristen, when she first started training with me, was kind of like, well, I don't know if I want more people to do mat work. There'll be competition. And I'm like, Kristen, there's 1.6 million people in the greater Austin area. Like this doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I've been noticing that as I've been here. People are
Like,
what?
shit. I mean, there's more now because of stuff like this. But like when I started, dude, it was just a sea of Swedish and deep tissue.
Yeah.
And there was no mat-based nothing. Me coming in and being like, push the table over. I'm like, fuck it, let's work on a mat. And then they're like, but no. I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, this is weird. I don't know what this is. You know,
It's
that
so
sort
much
of stuff.
better though. I've never
There you
really
go.
worked on the
There you
table.
go.
I did one table training once and I hated
So
it.
now,
I
Yeah,
was like, my back hurts.
Kristen
my forearms
Kristen came to me and her arms were hurting her and whatever. She was doing a lot of chair massage.
hurt. Yeah.
And then as I worked with her, she had to go through the process of like learning some of it on a table to give it to
Yeah.
the table clients and transition them and then find new clients. It's this whole convoluted process. And she's like at 4 or 5 years now. And it took about 2 years for her to get rid of her table
Yeah.
and just go mat
Yeah.
based.
That's what I heard for a
And now
lot.
she's 2 or 3 years mat based. And we try to go teach a class and she's like, fuck the table. I fucking hate this. It's fucking garbage. It's fucking shit. The fucking table's bullshit. And I'm like, all right, Kristen, you just alienated 99.99% of our entire
Yeah,
industry.
totally.
Now, we can still make a living off the 0.01% that you left
Yeah.
behind, but can you go tell them that it fucking sucks? Because they're not going to be angry at you, they are at me. And it's like, she's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I'm like, Kristen, it doesn't,
have you seen that guy?
it's unfortunately, it's too radical a shift. Like it fucks the entire industry up. When I come in and just go, well, let's work on a mat
Yeah.
on people who are clothed,
Yeah.
and they go, this is no. We were taught, and I'm like,
I know.
you were taught to deliver a service. I want you to learn how to solve a problem.
And for yourself too. Yeah, the way my teacher actually does it in a really graceful way. She does a tie for the table class where
Yeah.
she teaches people how to do tie on the table, and I didn't want to take it forever because I started in tie. I like didn't
Yeah.
tie. I got drawn to tie and just started, and then I finally finished my training. You know, to like finish my training, then I really needed. I went to the tie for the table class, and I just watched as all of these table therapists were like, "Oh, I just want to get that now."
Yeah.
You know, because they were like, "Oh, I get it. Like, you're just using body weight, and you're not having to use your own strength." And you know, there were people like me, and I was like, "I've never worked on a table. It's so much better on a mat. This, that." And that was a really graceful way. Actually. I saw all these people be like, "Now, how do I just do it? How do I get my clients on the ground?" Because that's what I hear is a struggle too, is getting the clients to go on the ground.
See, I have.
Yeah, well, you
dude,
got- you
no,
got-
I'll do this with clients. Students, I will sit there and I'm serious because I'm curmudgeonly as I get older, and I go, guys, listen. Based on the comments I've had on social media over the years, I'm a colonizer, misogynist, mansplaining, asshat,
Yeah.
brutal, fucking racist, bigot, you know, whatever.
I see that for you,
Like
yeah.
I have horrible social skills. I'm ugly. I'm fat. I'm covered in moles, and I'm a success. How did I do it?
Because all of those things don't matter.
Imagine what you can do as a nice person who's attractive.
He pushes himself down to push everyone on.
And it's like, and I've learned to do that because it's like they're like, it's just, I don't know. It's like it's pushback from what they think I'm saying as opposed to what I'm actually like. Kristen can say the same thing, and they're like, "Oh my God, she is a boss babe. She is the baddest bitch ever. Oh my God, it's amazing."
Sure.
And I go, "Oh, they're having some weird, like, because of the presentation."
Package.
Yeah, like whatever that is, you know. Yeah.
People are only seeing through the narrow lens of what they believe based on the externals of you, instead of actually.
What's going on?
I'm Presence.
Presents?
What's your name?
Dow.
Down. I want to learn some stuff. That's awesome.
I don't know if I know anything.
I know.
Do you see? Well, see, Kristen also, she responds differently at like the jam because she's like, "Why do you fucking keep doing it?" And I'm like, because this is like a party where I blow off steam from all the bullshit teaching I have to do all the time. Where it's like,
I was like, I should be further away 'cause I'm just talking shit over here. I'm like, he's so full of shit.
so what is it you need?
I don't know. keep
Yeah.
it not
So,
really
and
knowing.
here's the thing. So I can deliver sequence, but I work much better if you ask a question and then I just answer and just kind of meet you where you're
So,
at.
I mean, low back is always like the biggest,
Yeah.
like the biggest thing. That
And then when they have low back, is it like broad, general, like across the sacrum?
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
like every time they point to it, it's always like here.
Yeah,
And I've got some stuff that I do, but I'm always like, I'm
So
always
lay
looking
on
to
your back for me.
improve my skill set.
Yeah. And then this is the point at which the clients, if you're not careful, they go, "Yo, bro, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, I just told you my low back hurts. Why are you having me lay on my low back?" And I go, "I've got 20 years experience in
Yeah,
chronic
I know,
pain
yeah.
management. I just want you to give me 5 minutes."
Yeah.
So the deal is a lot of their gluteals and their hips are like super tight.
Okay.
So they just get kind of locked down in their lumbar, like facet joints. So I got to take Texans, and this Texan is named Bob, which is short for Jim Bob.
Okay.
And I got to get Bubba to come in here with his jeans on and take off his boots.
Yeah.
He talks to me about smokers, and I'm like, love brisket, smoke meat. How do you smoke? You use post oak? What do you do? And he's like, man, you're kind of cool, man. I like this. So I'm softening the gluteals, but it's also twisting the lumbar. But it's also going to use your feet, so you're not like overworking yourself. So how does that feel in your low back?
That's good.
Good. What if I give you a little arm?
If I ate too late at night, then I wake up hungry, and I'm like, why am I hungry?
Not too bad.
But if I stop eating it,
Now I can do this as well, and I've done this so many times. I just put my foot into position. But you can do the cheat method, which is like lifting them up, especially if you have a big client and you can't quite get your foot in position. Because I can move closer towards the sacrum. Ooh.
where am I?
And then for you, do you think when we go like up, or you want me to go down?
I think for me,
Up, okay. And if I go up, do you want me to go just a little bit more lateral, like medius?
yeah.
So what do you think right there? That's why we have Kristen teach, because she doesn't back down. She like talks shit at me.
Yeah,
I need a little like back and forth.
We're not. It's always discussion.
Just like a little back and forth.
Spirited
Robert.
discussion.
Have to go back and forth.
Robert. And I can't say his name.
Right there.
Yeah.
Now if I give you some more sharp little pull, how's that? Okay.
Yeah.
So most of this isn't because I think the gluteals necessarily cause the back pain.
Yeah.
I just think that their sacrum is being locked in position.
Okay.
And these muscles are so strong, these little facet joints,
Yeah.
there's no way that muscle can compete.
Okay.
It's just, this shit is so tight and locked down. They have no movement through their hips. They're just like sit in a chair or lay in bed and that's it.
Got it.
You know. I'm gonna do the other side real quick. Yeah, after all that shit I talked, I was like, wow, she actually thinks I have something to teach. I was like, I figured she was just talking shit.
Well, I think that's where the world is going. Is we are no longer here to be conformists,
Yeah.
just following as sheeple and lemmings. Like, and so when I hear somebody who's so in his, like you are, like, even fucking, you know what you're here to do. You're doing it. So I find it very inspiring. Like, this guy knows what he's doing in the boxing too. Also, because you just worked out my shoulder.
Yeah, I mean,
In a magic way.
I think also it's a little bit like, I look at this all the time. I don't listen to as much modern music as some people. And it's like, I came of age in a different era before like streaming services. So what you could hear was like on the radio or MTV.
Yeah.
And now
I'm not
things
that much younger
are
than
more
you,
diverse.
actually,
Yeah. You seem like you're much younger.
Yeah, no, I graduated 2005.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I graduated in 95. So
Okay.
the deal is, when I look at like Kristen, that thing with competition, when I look at hip hop, why does like Lil Dicky do the bit with Snoop Dogg, and then they work with Wiz Khalifa, and then like they're on each other's albums? Because they don't seem to act like there's competition.
No.
They seem to act like it promotes them to the other person's audience. So like if you learn awesome stuff and take it your own direction and like go do stuff successful, do I feel diminished?
This
No.
I should say foot arm.
Like, they're like, do I go, she didn't give me credit.
That's what I'm gonna do.
And I'm like, credit for what?
Credit for what?
Showing you how to put your foot in somebody's ass?
Yeah.
There you go. A little more sacrum?
So they're both good.
Or is it a
They're
little
like
bit
different
like up
stage,
and over, a
right?
little
Like,
lateral again?
A little bit. Yeah.
There we go. So just let yourself rest. And this is the part I've had to practice. Like I showed, it's one of the hardest things to teach because the students can't figure out the foot placement. So they have to come in and kitty make biscuits
Yeah.
and kind of get the person in position and go right there. Now, if I go there and give you some resistance, how's that? There we go.
Oh, like right here.
It's like I was in massage school and somebody said something about Reiki, and I was like, Reiki? I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's kind of like a healing kind of energy thing. And I was like, cool. Can I be like the dark side of the force and do evil Reiki and we could do battle? And they're like, no, that's not how it works. I'm like, come on, man, that'd be cool. Reiki and evil Reiki, yeah. I could shoot lightning bolts out Emperor Palpatine. The dark side of the force. I'm all into it.
I mean, not now. You probably could. Wouldn't be able to call it Reiki though. Get a lot of pushback from the Reiki masters.
Right there? Or just a little more lateral. Like
Those.
a little right there.
Yeah.
There. Now, if I give you some resistance on both sides, what's that? A little bit? Pinch of skin?
Pinches like this.
Oh, in your back. Okay.
What happened?
So the main reason I do that is just get their gluteal muscles to soften.
I mean, I felt it. Like,
Because
we
it's-
moved from this side to this side.
It's definitely like all this along their pelvic bowl. It's like this stuff, in my opinion, their quads and like their gluteals, it just locks their low back down. And they're Westerners, they don't sit down on the ground.
Right.
Like they're always in a chair, so it's just very, very immobile.
Got it.
When somebody just has that general 80% of what I see low back pain, the next step is this. Is I'll come in and start to work on their hips. Do you think more right side or left?
I'm
Do you think more
sorry,
right
I'll work
side
on it.
For me, it's
just
equal.
it all
Equal,
felt so
okay.
good. Yeah.
And there's more to it, of course, but the basics is I would come in and let their leg just rest and see what their lateral rotation is. Is that okay on your low back? Okay. Anything in the low back?
Oh, but yeah.
Now, if you get some office worker, their entire hip structure is just like, yeah. And I go, right there in your back.
I would cry.
Or do you need more resistance?
Want the knee
Yeah, you have
I need
open
a more
hips.
broad surface impact, so I can't-
rather than a forearm.
Been
Yeah.
at a chair a lot
Or
the last
break
2
it
weeks,
open.
but it's not my
Like, you
whole.
can work
Not my
that,
whole
like,
life.
Well, it's like I usually do this and then forearm while I'm like moving your arm through it.
Yeah.
And like,
Too much?
No, it's not
work
big.
up.
Yeah.
Deep
I
breath.
think in this class, and it's like a mat-based class, and like the type of
Then-
was like,
What we're mainly doing was external rotation,
Okay.
like opening out. It's like even though I'm pressing like adducters,
Yeah.
myself.
all I'm doing is mobilizing their lumbar spine to see what direction. For some people, you'll do this and they're like, I'm like, it's not it. Then I take them and bring them across.
Access to their needs to do knee first.
And a lot of them, just from that, they're just like, when I get here, it's more like gluteals and piriformis. Once I get to here, they're just like, oh, oh my God. Is that too much?
I'm gonna shrivel up in two, that little deal in my back.
Then for some of them, depending on where they feel it, if it's more like lumbar spine, the facet joints, if I bring them over this twist, usually they're like, oh, dude, right, oh my God, right there. If I'm working on a big guy, I'll come in and do this and go, listen, how's that right there? Because it's still twisting them, It's working their low back. You're just using the leg as the handle to reach down into the pelvic bowl, basically. They go right there.
Thank you to jam on Friday. Yeah, it's like, but I
And it
work
also
until 8,
depends
so I'm
just
gonna
where
go
they
back.
tell me they feel it. If I bring them up and they're, knee to opposite shoulder and they're just like, oh my God, like that's it. Then it's more like stacking body weight to go, listen, right there. Cool. Now what happens if I like lean in and back out? It's like, is that, and they're like, oh, because I have to connect whatever I'm doing to their back pain.
Now, I do,
I'm like, right there, is that it? Oh God, I'm dying. I'm like, okay.
but yeah, it's like we would meet.
Then it's very common.
Like at 4 o'clock.
I'll
on that
roll them this way
Sunday.
with my thighs right along their sacrum. We go, listen, how's this?
Awesome. Okay, that's great.
If they like that external rotation.
Yeah, it's like I put my hoops and my point. I will have it.
What is the point?
It's the ball on the chain that you swing.
Oh, I was like,
You're like, yeah.
I'd rather know what you're talking about.
But primarily it's just using the legs as a handle to like get what they're trying to figure out what rotation is getting muscles that are causing that low back pain.
Honestly, I'm so happy my softball got canceled because I started dying out there. In the house where my chest is. I should check down. Yeah, and like, why are they giving us double headers? They give us double header on Mother's Day, and then they give us double header today on Father's Day. And I'm like, who's parent people? You hate parents? Hey, come on now. What the hell is this? Double header not on a non-holiday.
Too much.
No.
Yes. Do you want to be worked out or you want to work?
I was getting too sharp.
And most people, that's like
Oh, sorry, Robert.
upper 10 percentile. Most people can't receive this at all.
Yeah.
The students will work on me and freak out. They're like, dude, your fucking hips. And I'm like, oh, dude, I've been doing this shit for so long. It's just way more mobile. Especially than the average dude.
Yeah. It's usually not as open in this region.
Sorry, I keep rotating my sharp side.
There you go. Yeah, and just like before,
No.
just to kind of see their range. Yeah, Nefer Jacobson is the other like traditional practitioner that I get along with her well enough through my conversations with her, but I just don't like really engage the debates about it. Very like arch traditionalist in some ways. And again, if the got a big guy, just kind of lock him in position. And then what do you think? More up?
My glute and shape. If I can do this, I should do this. I should do whatever.
Sometimes when I do this in a side, like in a half kneel across their body, where it hurts their shoulder, like this would be better for me.
Did you do much research online about me or anything? Have you seen the suspension? Okay, you need to come over to the studio. Right there. Not too much? Okay.
That back up or did I add more? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about what? It's like our side. so really. And as far as knee pain, oh my god, it's crazy. The knee pain I was holding with my adductors.
If I had somebody that's just their glutes are just super, super stiff, I'll often after that go into a second pass where I just work on the gluteals from here. If I was going to teach like a low back sequence that works 80% of the time, that's pretty much it. There's other pieces you can add, like other areas of tension, like working their quads or hamstrings, you know, but for a lot of people, it's just that their legs, they get no mobility. It's all just like stuck.
Sitting.
And I'm like, as I'm like trying to sell more tickets,
Yeah, I think it's just chair culture.
but, like,
Yeah, just they don't sit on the ground. There's no mobility. Right there.
give me a moment. We had 100. Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah.
Crazy. Because I would have paid more if I went over. I had 100 exactly.
Then the other piece is,
I'm glad that
I mean, that's about 80% of people, but if I know that they prefer forward bending,
if not, I will deal with it when I get like, oh, you probably have it.
maybe something like this.
Resell. Okay. So there was a couple people that had that happen. Like,
Yeah, it was just like emergency style thing. I took off of work and like I was trying to reschedule clients. Good though. Good. Next year, party march.
yeah. We're on the 4th of July. There's another one on like July 4th.
Too much? If they like forward bending, I'll take them in, and then it's like, hey, how's this? But it's more like, again, using the legs as the handle to mobilize their sacrum. Is it too much? There we go. Then if they do like that, 9 times out of 10, I'll come in, just work on one foot. Ooh. It's like calves, soleus, hamstrings, usually down into their sacrum because it's putting some pressure there.
That's kind of harder for me.
The like kind of central place that you're trying to unlock is the same.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so to me, what happens is, and I'll explain this in a little more detail in a second. The facet joints, like when you go, have you seen a chiropractor before?
No.
So when you see a chiropractor for your lumbar spine, they tend to, I'll do this in Thai massage sometimes. I would put somebody in a position to access something and they're like, oh, this is just like my chiropractor does. And I was like, why does the chiropractor, because I'm accessing tissue, and I'm like, oh, the chiropractor is trying to, because the facet joints and the lumbar spine are lined up like this. So this rapid thrust will like get that muscle to, before the muscle can tighten up, they crack basically. What I'm doing is a slower version of it where I'm working on the,
Can I push it?
this wrong buttons.
These ones?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm trying to get you, but I don't know where you are.
That was number 4.
Oh, there you are. I was like, are you? That was the same one it was. Sorry, my butt was all up in it, so I was trying.
Nice.
Fine. I won't put my butt on it anymore. It was just a full moon.
I'll take your butt and have the editor
It's
put
like, all there was was a big
a
black
glowing
button in
thing
there.
around it, and it'll be like Sir Mix-a-Lot's "Baby Got Back" will come up.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
And
dun,
I was, like,
dun, dun,
doing a little
dun,
cross
dun,
in my-
dun, 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 dun. So the twist, if they like that, and they want some traction, it's like, what do you think? A little more, or is it good? Okay. Now, if I get someone in there that's like, oh my God, that's it, but they need more isolation, how's that along your quad right there?
No, and 3 or 4 said that. Oh my gosh.
So what I think happens is the chiropractor does that high velocity thrust because it gets it to crack before the muscles can tighten.
Sure.
My complaint has always been that the muscles themselves are just going to pull the spine back off unless you address the soft tissue. So what I wound up doing was, like, I had to look at what I was taught and then go, okay, especially the low back. The basic sequence I was taught was great for low back pain. And I was like, why? Because it's not, like, the sequence I just went through is nothing like what I was taught in massage school. Like, I mean, nothing. Like, it's fucking like, what the, you have them lay on their back? This is, what? And I was like, why are they having low back pain? And it was like, the closest I can come to an answer after all these years is all the muscles around their hips and pelvis torques the position of the sacrum. Then the muscles in their lumbar spine, those little bitty facet joint muscles, go, they can't fight those big muscles. And the issue is you can press on these and they can massage this and try to get it to let go, but it's going to wind up coming back because the core issue is where the legs are meeting the torso, like in their pelvic bowl, basically. So if you address the gluteals, address the hips, mobilize the spine, 9 times out of 10, just the simple sequence I'm going through right now, the clients were just like, dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Dude, this shit, dude, this is so much more effective than the massages I've had. What the fuck is this? And I'm like, oh, it's Thai massage from Thailand. And they're like, when did you go to Thailand? I'm like, I didn't go to Thailand. I studied with a white lady who went to Thailand. And, you know, he's like, which they were fine with, but. And this lengthens those same facet joints. I've learned over time, like I'll do this to somebody and they will have a spontaneous cavitation. They crack. And they're just like, oh my God. Oh my God, it just cracked. It's just like my chiropractor. And I'm like, sometimes while I'm manipulating soft tissue, people will have a spontaneous cavitation because it's, you can't adjust people, right? But what happens when muscles let go?
Spontaneous cavitation.
It's just like my shoulder, and I click, and it's like, oh, that feels so much better right there.
Watching and learning.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do right now?
I don't know. I'm hurtling on a rock through space in the Milky Way galaxy, thinking about the fact that all is impermanent, just like the Buddha said. I'm like, God damn it. There was some truth there. How's that? There. This feels better on this side. Now, if I give you a little bit of pull right there, is it too much quad?
From going from being my frame outside to up, felt a little unstable. And I'm like, this is good.
How's that?
That's great. Yeah, like I really felt my whole, like this whole area.
And 9 times out of 10, it just feels like if they have a problem here, if the muscles are super tight here and they've torqued the pelvis in some direction, these muscles in the lumbar spine cannot.
They just can't.
I mean, well, they're going to tighten up to try to balance, and it's like, but the core issue never gets addressed. And then when I would work on basically people's legs, and that was what I had to figure out as a student, and I'm like, wait a second, why the fuck? Like, students will still do this. They'll go through intro Thai, where I go through a version of that leg sequence. The intro Thai class is a 54-page workbook. The class lasts 3 days. They would go through that class, and then we get towards the end. I'm like, do you guys have any questions? And they're like, what do we do for low back pain? And I'm like, we do pages 12 to 34 of the Intro to Thai Massage workbook that we just covered. And they're like, what? In other words, they didn't understand how to apply the sequence for a specific issue, which has been like this weird thing in curriculum where I'm trying to revamp curriculum in a different way to get them to understand the logic of why I think it works. That, what I just did, 80% of the clients, awesome. The other 20%, they're sodas. And then I have to do like
You go in from the front
I will, but I have to be more like, oh, I have to take my time doing abdominal work to like go in slow. So the thing is, a lot of massage therapists will go in so fast that it feels like aggressive and kind of rough.
Yeah.
They'll start like hooking into iliacus and having people move their leg and shit. And I'm like, dude, that feels like
Yeah.
like I can say so is to a client and they go,
Yeah. Start to
because they've had somebody, and I'm like, no, it's super slow. And sometimes the psoas work is literally just me taking my palm and like leaning in and going, okay, cool, let's figure it out. And I sink in deep enough and go, listen, more to the spine or more away? And they're like, ooh, towards the spine. And I'm like, cool, is that enough? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, more up or more down? And they're like, oh, the up. And I go, right there? And I'm like, okay, is it just tender where I'm pressing? And they're like, no, I get this, this deep, like, does it feel like your low back pain, the thing along your sacrum? And they're like, uh-huh. And it's like that issue, it's like, it's still pelvic bowl, but it's like you have to kind of soften all this superficial stuff that's all protected to be able to get into it. It's like, I don't like the way a lot of therapists just dive in. It just feels like I can use a forearm and an elbow in the area, but I have to go in at such a pace and slowly enough to get the person's body to open up.
Yeah.
That's the other 20%. Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do abdominal work in all of my sessions.
Oh, dude, it's not even, I can't even teach it. The students aren't even fucking interested in it.
I think it's my favorite work to do. I love getting people to have
Yeah, it's like when I started doing it, it was interesting. I had a distinct like shift in my client base where women with severe menstrual cramps were coming in.
Okay.
And they were like, Robert, this shit, they're like, dude, it normally feels like velociraptors are chewing their way out of my body. They're like, I've never had cycles that are this easy. And it's like, again, I get to that point where it's not skeletal muscle. You're starting to deal with smooth muscle tissue, like the abdomen. Like I can tell my bicep to tighten. I can't be like small intestine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different part of the body,
Sure.
and that same stuff related to like reproductive organs and whatever. Women, good God, women lit up. They were just like, oh, I had a miscarriage and an abortion and like all their sexual health history. They were like, it wasn't like I was asking for it. It was more like we would get into stuff and it was like right there, and they're like, oh, like start crying, and I'm like, is it too much pressure? And they're like, no, it just, oh, it's right where I had my appendix out.
Yeah.
And what it is it's just cutaneous and subcutaneous nerves, but it's like running through an area that other people weren't working on. What's up, man?
Your ID on Venmo so I can get to the place.
Oh, where's my phone? Can you hand me that phone right there? Do you have your phone to scan it? Yeah, my phone's right there, the purple one.
Yeah.
So yeah, 80% the hip mobilization. Yeah, 80% that. The other ones, the other 20%, usually it's the psoas. Yeah. I'm still learning how to work all this stuff. There we go. Years ago, I had a cyclist come see me, and he had sciatica, which always just means they have pain running down their leg, usually the back. But because he was so athletic, I didn't know like exactly what was going on, because usually I see sciatica in people that I don't know, like a guy injures himself at work, but he's not like in great shape or whatever. I've never seen Michael Jordan for sciatica. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So I worked on him, and he only reduced by about 1.5 points on a pain scale. 2 is my benchmark. If I can get a 2-point reduction, I feel like I've done my job. Woke stuff up. He only had like 1.5 points after I worked on him. And I mean, I worked his glutes and worked his legs and did all the stuff, and I was like, okay, man, listen, I want to freak you out. I'm a massage therapist. I don't diagnose or treat conditions. I just help people with smooth muscle tissue, the soft tissue, whatever, pain. I was like, I'm afraid you have a herniated disc in your lumbar spine that's pressing on that nerve that's higher up, and basically it's referring that pain down your leg. If your pain does not substantially change, there's not a lot more I can do than we did today. I think you should go see a doctor.
Yeah.
A week later, I got a phone call, and he's like, I went to a doctor and had a scan. I have a herniated disc. And I was like, there you go. And the thing is, he wasn't angry. He was just like, how the fuck did you? And I'm like, dude, I work tissue.
Yeah.
If it's not tissue, it's something else, and it's like herniation's not anything I can do much with.
No,
You know,
no.
I can work the tissue around it,
Yeah.
but it's like if you're having that and it's a long-standing thing, you need to get that, you know, taken care of. Yeah.
Yep.
Smart
Still.
word.
He's still around?
What do you do with these videos?
Yeah. They told you.
Oh, mine 2298. The phone number 2298 2298. I use it for blackmail. Yeah, I save the recording, and they're like, "You said that? Like, I'll cut that shit out and put it on. I'll put it on Instagram." Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I recorded the class earlier, and then I already had it here, so I figured I would just run it and just let it record what it was doing.
Yeah.
But I'm down. It's good.
Excuse me.
I can't next Sunday.
Can't you get like
Me neither. What happened?
I got lunch on
And yeah, you found me online. If you want to come by the studio and just hang out, like I can show you the suspension because I think you need to check it out.
Yeah.
If you have any other questions, just let me know. Like I'm pretty much an open book. I don't have a very like there are no trade secrets. They're like, you don't have like secrets? And I'm like, you mean the shit I've been trying to give away on YouTube for like 20 fucking years? Like, Jesus Christ, secrets? Like, I've been trying to get people to do this shit forever.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating. It's a fascinating part of the Thai world where it's like this. People, it's like this underground thing, but like anytime people find it, they're like, it's the best shit I've ever learned. But you just can't. You can't convince people. You can't, you can't talk your way into it. They just have to experience it, and then they're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not in their. It's not in their experience.
Yeah.
See you soon. Thank you. Yeah, the public for me, like with the clients, was never the issue. It was always the therapists.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing, and it was like I got so tired of fighting about like whether it was Thai or whatever. I'm like, fuck it, it's next level pain relief. Let's move on. And they're like, what the hell's next level pain relief? And I'm like, beginner's mind. Now we've achieved America. Like I can own shit, call it next level pain relief, and say, yeah, it came from Thai massage, but we're like just like this. If you take the biomechanics of Thai massage and layer pain science, what is that?
What you do.
And that was that. And basically, then after I'd worked on the client and they had a low back pain, and then I was like, okay, listen, here's a tennis ball. Let's work on this thing. So I'd show them how to work on themselves and like mobilize their own hips to help their own low back pain to get them to go away.
Sure.
When you put all that together with a 3-hour session with suspension and abdominal work, they were just like, dude, what the fuck? Because it got to the point where they're like, dude, this is like physical therapy or something. And I'm like, America's healthcare system is broken.
It's a piece of shit. It's a big
Like,
piece of shit.
I don't want you to have to come back. I mean, I like working with you, but I don't want you to have to come back.
It's a
I want
different
you to
model.
get better.
Yeah. They don't want you to become dependent.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to ask you 1,000 questions.
Oh. Well, the other thing you gotta understand too, like part of my, like you asking how to use the recordings, I don't get a chance to talk about it unless like the students are asking certain questions. And then a lot of the students I'm working with are, let's put it this way, like because I'm teaching online, there's students who live in Missouri.
Yeah.
There's not even anybody they can practice with.
Sure.
They're having trouble finding another massage therapist to work with them, training with me so they can even feel the work. So I work in like relative isolation unless I'm hanging out with Kristen or whatever. So don't be like shy to ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do sternum work?
Yeah.
Okay.
You having problems?
Yeah, totally.
What's going on?
The way that I would describe it is like it feels like I want to like lean back and pop it all the
Oh,
time.
okay. So
like, it feels really good when I
lay
do
back on your back.
Okay.
Let me see here. Oh, I gotta figure this out. Ugh. Whose pool noodle is this? That's right.
Matches your shirt.
Pool noodle. They're like, Robert, you don't really use pool noodles in your. Yes, I do. I'll use couch cushions, furniture. I don't know shit. No, man. See, that's the thing. That's the thing is, like, I watched the thing, and there's these chiropractors outside of. I don't think it's Chiang Mai. I think it's outside of Bangkok. Like it's like an hour outside of Bangkok or something. And these guys, they do chiropractic adjustments, but in Thailand, ain't no law rule.
No,
Like
no.
they're like one guy is like he's like pulling the guy like this, and the other guy like dives in with his knees, and I'm like, I want that. I got some old war wounds, and I think that would heal it right up. Yeah. So let's see. All right. So sit up for me real quick. Then I'm gonna put this down, and we're gonna get to decide. You can move it up or down on your spine. Go ahead and lay back for me. We just got to figure out how high or how low you want it. There you go. Does that need to be like higher, lower? Okay. Do you feel like you're supported and you can hang out there? Okay. Does it uncomfortable in your low back in any way? If it gets uncomfortable in your low back, you can bend your knees, and that way it'll kind of like shift where your sacrum is. Excuse me. Let me change one of these real quick. And then, do you think more right side or left sided? Okay, let me come over. Yeah, it's fine. How's your arm here? Would it feel better if it was supported a little higher? Like the spine there? There you go. Now, if I grab onto your ribs here, how's that? And then through the sternum?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. What about head and neck? Let's see here. Lift your head for me. How's that? A little better? There you go. Now, if I hook right here, is that too sharp?
No.
Higher, or is it more middle sternum? Okay. Now, if it comes in at a point, what if I'm like between the ribs?
Feels fine.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things about this pain is when it hurts the most when I like curve the spine forward.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Hey, I resemble that comment. I slur my words, and sometimes I'm alone.
I make an asshole out of myself when I'm sober, so
That's right.
no difference.
There you
So, is it more to the right side or the left?
Like when you're pressing on it now, I feel more of a
Tightness on the
stimulus.
left?
Yeah, but it's definitely farther up.
Okay. And then if I get up towards the collarbones,
Yeah, there. Fine. Like I had another massage therapist work on it, and it's like when she was up here and she was pressing, and that's when I can feel it, whatever it is. I don't know.
Got it. So it's one of those events where
Yeah.
More surprises than you would have liked.
now, do my hands need to start higher up here?
It's like more central.
Okay.
Right over. Like,
Oh my God, it is your heart chakra.
that's my heart.
It's all closed. Why is your heart chakra all closed? What's going on, presents?
I've been doing
Let's see. Now, if I'm right there,
Mm-hmm.
do you need more down or is it up?
more down.
Okay, tell me when. Now there, is it more right-sided or left?
It's both.
What if I go back and forth?
Feels
How's the rocking back and forth?
feels good.
Right there? Okay. Now, what happens if I get some neck involvement in there? And then more to the right, more to the left? Both. And I'm just in center? Okay. Now, what happens if I lift you? Does that help at all? There we go.
It's a circular connected foot.
Too much right there? So the pressure I'm delivering is fine?
Yeah.
Just real gentle. You don't have to be like forceful, but can you just like breathe into my palm like you're trying to expand your rib cage to get that to mobilize a little bit? There you go.
Right side, but I think that's the better.
Yeah, everything happens, I guess.
So it's like this part.
What did it say? I said 2020.
Axe throwing for my birthday.
Hey, Nick, you want to?
And like right over here, it is also right over this. It was Sunday.
It has liquid IV.
And I booked 2 rings for an hour. Okay. And he was like, well, there's no one else here, and I have to be here anyway, so y'all can keep throwing until someone shows up.
Still the pressure's down.
Yeah, like it feels like it's released a little bit where your hand is, and now it's like further down.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm gonna give you just a second to like unwind from whatever that was.
But they're like, yeah, yeah.
My palm is right there. Is that lower where it's supposed to be? There you go. And same thing, more right or more left?
It's more left.
And then is it the rock or is it static?
The rock.
They had it open so we could see part of the beer garden.
Fortunately, did that.
If I lean just a little bit more right there. How's that right there? There we go.
Similar to how we show it. You want to like look at research.
Not too much.
Nope. How it's put this back. It's just thinking you have to apply.
When first we had people upstairs for our
If I am just a little bit right over, what do you think there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then is it more to the left? More to the right?
More, like kind of
In the
right
middle?
there, yeah.
Okay. And then a bounce right there.
Mhm.
So my issue with this is you'll have a harder time getting a male therapist to work near breast
Sure.
tissue. And like I had somebody, they were looking at my stuff one time. They're a yoga teacher from like a marketing perspective. And they were like, Robert, I watched a video of you doing this shit on a table and you used a towel as like a prop and a bolster to make the woman feel comfortable. And she was like, I don't think you can teach what you just did. She was like, you so like conscientiously like got into a delicate, sensitive area without even remotely triggering like an anxiety response. Right there. And then what do you think? A little over? Okay. With your head and neck turned that way, is it any different if I turn you the opposite?
Yeah.
Do you like that for a second? There you go. And I've worked on women through their sternum particularly, and they've been in shock because they realize that the tissue has just like gotten stuck to their rib cage, and nobody will work on it. It's like well, it's either taboo or like if they're in relationships with men, the men are so breast fixated that they're never gonna work on like, I don't know, the tissue in the same way.
Sure.
Like it's interesting as a guy where I was in massage school the first time I worked on a classmate who was very amply chested, and I remember working on her and being like, holy shit. And I was like, oh, that's why women are complaining. Like you could feel tension in certain areas because her body was struggling to hold up, her chest.
I've heard that for people who have like larger breasts. It's like actually quite burden sometimes.
Two less children at my house. Fabulous. You can enjoy yourself.
Leaning back.
And then if I'm down below breast tissue over here, like around, or is it still just like in here?
No, down there too.
Okay.
There's a little bit of weirdness going on in that rib.
And if I go like more medial or more lateral? Right there? And then if I'm there, do I just go straight down?
2 weeks off at the end of July, beginning of August. I might book with you.
Too sharp?
No.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. We'll see you again soon. And for you, if I start to get into here, how does this feel?
Tender.
So I think, and we'll talk about this. You might be having some issues with serratus, like pulling your shoulder blades forward. We can check on that.
Okay.
Give me just a second. I'm trying to figure out how to position you here. If I come in, forearm, and is that down or up?
Up.
Tell me when.
There.
Okay. Is that more to the midline
Yeah.
or a little bit more lateral?
More towards the midline.
Okay. Tell me when. Okay. What is there a little rock right there?
Cool.
Not too sharp.
Nope.
If I turn your head away, or if you come over, turn your head towards me a little bit, which one works better?
Away.
Away. Right there. Breathe for me.
Pressure would be nice to be on. Minerals that are like
Gonna make you seasick. I was like, you gotta stop shaking her head after a couple minutes there, man.
I got a pretty strong stomach, but let's see how sensitive people might.
Oh, that's funny. Your brother said that? That's funny.
He tried to at the end of the call, but he still couldn't.
Because you smile.
He tried to, he still tried, but yeah.
It's fun to balance, huh?
Good
balance.
strong. I did a fast
You need more through there? Let me help you up. We'll check your serratus real quick. Can you see your hands? There you go. Both. There we go. Just lift you up through the center.
Pressure is really good. Only thing that maybe a bit too much is the pressure is,
I don't know where the pool noodle came from, but it helped.
yeah, if you turn this way, would you be able to turn that way?
There you go. Just lay down on your side. Doesn't matter which.
That way, you kind of pull the meat away from the bone.
Then I sort of lean back.
How does that spot feel in your chest?
Yeah, it was really good.
Muscular tension is still there.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Have you ever had anybody, because they do abdominal work, has anybody worked like your diaphragm to like see what's going on? No? Okay.
Thank
I act like this just a never, yeah, there's fuckers rolling around Austin just working on diaphragms, Robert. I'm like, nobody's working on fucking diaphragm. Fuck out of here. It's like, but I love that I'm at that phase in my practice where I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you're not, we're going to do fucking diaphragm? Like, we.
Yeah. I was running around in martial arts school, like in my grade. Stuck with it throughout high school.
There we go. And if I'm right in there, how's that?
Tender.
Little tender? Okay. What made you come to Austin?
I have a soul brother who lives here.
Nice. You staying with them at the moment?
Yeah, I'm doing a healing residency for the organization.
Nice.
Yeah, they're farmers doing real good shit for Central Texas. Anybody needs body work, it's farmers.
I've always wondered what it'd be like working on the Amish. Because, I mean, they're, manual labor.
Yeah, everything is.
Yeah. And if I go just a little higher, how's that? Okay. Now, I can make circles. If I kind of grab, does it feel better when I pull to the back? Okay. Now, I'm going to change this just a little bit. Is the angle, is it too sharp on my forearm? Okay. And do you want me to keep going back? Okay, tell me when. If I rock just a little bit right there.
A little sharp.
A little sharp? Okay, let me change the pressure just a little bit. If I change where my arm is that better? There we go. So the recordings you test. You can cut clips, you can release a whole thing. Some people, it's interesting, they keep asking me for long form stuff. And I'm like, does anybody watch a 4-hour video?
No, nobody does.
And I go, fuck it, just release the whole thing. Right there. Is the rocking, do you prefer I slow that down? There we go. Now, if I maintain that kind of clockwise motion, you just want me to pull just a little bit more to the back. Okay, and if I give you just a little shift and rock there, there we go. What if I give you some of this?
martial arts gym over where the H marks were actually.
A little bit up, a little bit down.
Down.
Tell me when.
Yeah.
And then a little to the back. There we go. A little bit of rock. Or just static.
The rock.
Yeah, man, at this point, I'm trying to think, what makes me run away faster than traditional Thai massage? Like, if I hear that, I'm just like, just remain calm. Do not draw attention to yourself.
Move back away.
Like, and then the philosophy student meeting go, well, what is traditional Thai massage? And I'm like, oh God. And it was awesome. We were at the jam years ago. This young lady went to Thailand. She was only there for like a couple of months, but she took some little classes and courses and stuff. And she said, man, when I went to Thai massage, like when I went to Thailand, I was really trying to see, like, you know, what's the real core of the tradition? Like, what's the quintessential, you know, Thai massage? And I listened to this like a hawk. Like I was like, you know, and she said, what blew me away was like everybody did it different. And I'm like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. All comes through the lens of the individual teaching it. 100% of it.
Now, right there.
It's a little sharp.
Okay, too sharp. Hold on. There we go. Better? There we go. Thank you for letting me know.
And the thumb is guiding, but it's not really. Her shoulders up down here. She's cranked up this, and it doesn't help at all. So switch forwards with her hips resting on your legs.
Yeah, it's like it's making me like go back into my mental Rolodex of like people I've studied with and what I liked and did not like that I probably should not say on YouTube openly.
Yep.
Because it's like there's been so many people, and it's like what's interesting is even great teachers, and you learn what you don't like.
Yeah.
And it's not because they did anything wrong at all. It's just some of it just isn't the style you want, or it's not where you want to go.
It doesn't resonate with your like unique interpretation of it all.
Yeah. Right there.
It's kind of 30 days. I think it's $80 for 30 days.
Maybe actually it's not that much.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
There you go.
Did that feel like it had any effect on like the sternum stuff?
Yeah, like when I, because it's like really when I do
Yeah.
sternum, it did actually.
So the issue is, do you know where serratus anterior is?
No.
So there's a muscle on the shoulder blade, and it's kind of hidden. I actually had a Danielle Omo, one of my students, worked on me one day, and because I would use some side lying, but like I was having this shoulder thing, this ongoing issue on my left side, and she got into this muscle, and what it does is it anchors the shoulder blade down to the rib cage.
Okay.
So in addition to like the pec and pec minor, which roll the chest forward, the serratus is hidden because it's on the side.
Okay.
So in combination, those three muscles wind up doing this, and I just thought maybe if you were having a problem through there, it might be coming from that. Can you flip on your other side?
Yeah.
And plus, I did it, and you went, that feels good, and I'm like, cool, all right, all right. Like, how did you know? It's magic. It's all magic. I was reading her chakras and figuring out her energetic alignment, and then I was making myself like, lining myself up so I could energetically to. Let's see. And then again, let's see. Right. If I'm down here, is that too much?
Nope.
Okay. Does it start there or do you need to go a little higher? Higher. Right there?
Yeah.
There we go. And then if I'm right here, is that too much pressure, too sharp, anything? And again, to the back. So, and here's the thing, the muscle shortens and pulls to the front. They almost always ask you to shear to the back, where you're like basically lengthening the muscle fibers to like pull the shoulder blade back and off the rib cage. Cody, you made it. He's a regular at the Thai Massage Jam. So Kristen, is that tarp thing or whatever that was? Is that thing salvageable?
No, it's cut apart.
Because I saw it blue across the yard or something.
Dude, we called all these neighbors. Nobody could take it down, and I was like, "How do you guys not know how to take down a damn canopy?" I was like, "You guys are engineers. You're so smart."
Right there.
YouTube.
This what Neil Brennan. So Neil Brennan's what's his name? Neil Brennan, I think. Anyway, the comedian. He's like, just a touch of Asperger's. It's like Salt Bay, just a touch of Asperger's.
We had 3 people, and none of them could figure out how to do it. We were so I had to buy a new one. I ordered it today because I have that event. I have to have a canopy or I'm gonna die.
Right.
Die in the sun.
There. Is there too much? Okay. That little rock.
And my big decision today was what color was my canopy? What color should I choose my canopy to be? Sky blue? Or like massage blue? Well, your back hurts. I have to let it go.
My original teacher, like I'm still me, but I'm different than I was at the time I was studying with her. And I took a class with her and then was like, I want to be your teaching assistant. And she was like, oh. And oh, okay. All right. And then, she got in contact with me and I assisted so many classes, we lost count. And when I say assisted, 1, I didn't get paid. 2, I swept floors, cleaned up, took payments, packed stuff in the car, moved the mats. Like, no, dude, I mean, bootlicking supplicant. Like, I did everything to take pressure off of her so I could work with her and learn. And we were driving somewhere one time and she's like, Robert, she's like, I see you. She's like, you got that gruff, crunchy exterior, but you got a warm nougaty center. And I was like, oh, I feel seen. She sees little Robbie before he got beat down by capitalism. Right there?
Yeah.
There we go. Is the rock too fast?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, this side is way less tender.
I like that. I'll pull off a little bit.
Is it just because you're are you left-handed?
No, I'm right-handed.
Oh, interesting. Usually people are dominant, on the side. If I'm up and back, what do you think? There you go.
It's just this left side is where all my stress are.
Man, the body is weird. Like my rotation, I've had a chiropractor, they're like, you have a scoliosis. And I'm like, all right. Like most people have, if you x-ray them, they have a minor deviation. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It's just, but it's like, I can feel in joints in my own body, certain rotation and stuff. Like I'm not as mobile on my left or right side or whatever. And I always wonder about it because it's such a weird, I don't know, it's just such a weird thing to feel.
Yeah.
Like your set of your nervous system always being the same. Like I've seen it in a yoga student I've worked with. She was having some problems and I think no, it wasn't her lumbar spine. What was it? think it was like through her upper back and neck. Like I was working with her something in Shavasana and working with her to get her to release and relax like her vertebra and whatever. And I saw the time where something finally let go and she was like, oh my God. And it's like, it took years to get that one thing to just,
To finally.
you know, in her case, to like wake up. And I've got the same sort of war wounds in my body. It's just part of, I guess, being in a meat suit.
Yep.
They were smart.
Right there.
I don't know. During the monthly was playing a game. Supposed to some chip on his brain.
Just in his head, and they saw.
Well, they didn't see it. Basically, they had a screen in front of them with on game.
Yeah.
And when he got credible with the food, every time it continued to play the game.
Oh, I didn't think to bring like a bowl or whatever if you guys have donations, but you could just set stuff on that little red stool over there. If you guys have Venmo or whatever, it's, well, you know. I just didn't think about it because we had the class beforehand. But a Venmo or whatever's fine as well. Right there. There you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was saying it was on my phone. If you give it to me, I'll. Well,
Oh, purple.
I live in the lands of Venmo. Oh, one day I'll learn how to do this. There you go.
The other second person.
So go just a little bit higher, right there. There we go. Is that not too sharp? I broadened it a little bit. Right there. You come from a big family?
Modern. Happy brothers.
Got 2 younger brothers. I was the test unit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my sister. But we're pretty close. I'm grateful for the family that I chose. Before I came here.
So,
Yeah, I never got a full sense. I spent like a month out at the Esalen Institute, Northern California, like that Big Sur area.
Yep.
But I never got like a full vibe of like, I don't know, California. Like it doesn't make sense, I guess,
California.
culturally.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I've not been in it enough to
Yeah.
figure out like, okay, I lived in Louisiana, I know the South.
Yeah.
That's familiar. I lived in Pennsylvania, I understood New England and went, this ain't for me. And then the West Coast, I'm just like, I don't get it. Like I don't.
It's like super nice. Everybody's like real nice, real laid back. You know.
I think what I do is I pull. I think
I'm like,
with this arm and then push with this.
I don't know. That's how I describe it.
Kinda use my body.
Laid back, pretty nice. Sometimes like overly nice though. You know, where they're like it's real. The niceness is sometimes police. If that makes any sense. Like, it's a lot of like, you know, like language is really big out there. Like you'll get a lot of language policing in California, where it's like you have to say things this way and let's talk about our gender pronouns. Like, you know, like let's make sure that we are exactly correct in everything that we're saying.
Yeah.
To make sure that everybody's feelings are okay. So that's a part.
And then for hip flexors, I sit.
I just know when I went to Portland many years ago, it was like the person I was with had moved into like a group, like co-op or something, and she had taken out a vacuum to clean something, and since she was there, she just did more of the floor. And her roommate like got angry that she didn't use a broom because of the electricity usage.
Wow.
And I was like, the biggest city in my state went underwater. Like, you guys are worried about electricity usage from a fucking vacuum?
Yep.
Like, I don't want to party with you guys. Like, this is not like the thing about growing up an hour from New Orleans is there's a little bit of, I'm trying to figure out this polite way to say this. To me, there's this thing about 400 years of slave culture. And what it is we're going to party and have a great time because we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So everything in the culture is like party down, have a good time, drink, eat, gamble, vice basically, because we don't know when the next hurricane is coming.
Yeah, when it's all gonna get torn down.
And it's like it's weird because there's this diaspora out of Louisiana because of the hurricanes, like historically through the U.S. So it's just kind of interesting because I remember, like, I would never do this, but when I was in Portland, Oregon, I wanted to litter. I wanted to drink a beer and just throw the can on the ground at a party just to see everyone lose their mind. Well, like I had I was going to Hawaii, and this family had a little home there, and they offered me to use their home as like a place to stay on the Big Island or whatever. And we worked it out, and the youngest son like pulled me aside, and he's like, "Hey man, I just want you to know, like, the Hawaiians are kind of like racist towards white people." And I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Do you know anything about the history of the Hawaiian Islands?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I don't blame them." And I figured, because I'd never been, I don't know much about Polynesian culture, but when I went, it was green in a way that kind of like Portland is, but I don't know how to explain it. It's like in their blood because they live on an island and you can't get away from it. So you have to take care of this pristine, stuff. And like I thought about it, and I was like, if I as a white guy went to the beach, the joke I just made, if I went to the beach and drank a beer and threw that beer can on the beach, I would expect to get beaten up by some native Hawaiians and deserve it. And it's like, the thing is, what I found was exactly what I thought would be the case, is that the Hawaiians that I ran into were inordinately polite and nice. As long as you were polite to them, and it's like, and it's that same, thing culturally I find so interesting. Right there, a little bit up,
No,
a little bit back,
yeah.
right there, and a little rock. And it's just a difference in how people like deal with culture and stuff. It's so, like, culture is very hard to describe verbally.
Yeah, words are just.
Yeah.
Near the hip bone? I'm sorry, yeah.
It's like I had some, because I went to Pennsylvania, which is where the Amish were in York, Lancaster County. And I lived there for about a month. And then I started to freak out. I was like, these are the whitest people I've ever been around, ever. I was like, dude, I mean, I grew up in Baton Rouge. It was like gumbo, boudin, jazz, funk, blues, Mardi Gras. Like, it was just seeping in the culture. And you realize, oh my God, it's just like the cultural, difference. When I graduated massage school, my friends, we had like 6-7 months or something till it was like Jazz Fest time. And I called all my friends from massage school and I was like, yo, y'all come down to New Orleans for Jazz Fest. We'll get tickets to the fest. We'll hang out at my mom's place, And they're like, okay. So they got tickets, dude. They came down. When they showed up at my mama's house, there was a pot of gumbo waiting for them. We had a crawfish boil while they were there. And then at one night, towards the end of the vacation, we got on a riverboat, which there's a concert on the riverboat inside. And then on the upper deck of the riverboat where you watch the river go by, there was a brass band dancing and singing and playing up on the upper deck. And a friend of mine looked at me, and this was pre-Katrina. He was just like, dude, what the fuck is this? He's like, dude, I have never in my fucking life been around anything. And I was like, it's New Orleans. I was like, dude, the shit I showed you, and it's like, this is why I was freaked out in reverse when I went to Pennsylvania. Like, I remember being in school and saying something one time. There was a student, and I was like, y'all don't have any black people. And she's like, we have black people. I saw one the other day. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, dude, 50% of any person I ran into my entire life was black. But his response of like appreciation and love for the culture that he was exposed to, and it's like, I don't know, like in a weird way you just take it for granted. Like now I've gotten used to tacos and Tex-Mex and queso and other food stuffs here, barbecue. And if I go somewhere and they don't have that, I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Are y'all fucking around? Like, we think a little more up.
That's the way I would.
Or like how?
Or something.
If I twist just a little bit, is that too much?
No.
Okay. What if I angle just a little bit?
Nope.
Oh, fine, right there. There we go. What if I give you a little more? There we go.
This is definitely a spot.
Yeah, culturally it was always interesting. I think a lot of people too, because they might not know I was from Louisiana, like some of my opinions and attitudes and leanings, even the way I speak, I think they, like in Pennsylvania, I swear to God, they were surprised I was literate. I think they thought everybody south of the Mason-Dixon couldn't read. You know, it's like, it was such a weird, thing. It's like, once you go south of the Mason-Dixon line, everything just slows down. And I'm like, it was like 100 fucking degrees in the middle of summer where I'm from, bro.
Of course you slow down.
Like, on the other hand, I had to deal with snow. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that was the worst.
Right there.
Yep.
There we go. But yeah, that West Coast thing, I never quite figured it out. And I assume from Washington to Oregon, California, it's different.
Yeah, they're really different cultures.
I love when people, they don't like their neighbors. I love that shit. They're like, I don't like the way they do stuff. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, they do it differently than us.
Yeah.
It's like the Dr. Seuss bread and butter battle or whatever.
Totally. Yeah, I think the one thing about the Bay Area that's different is that there's a lot more Asian people than you see. I think in a lot of different populations. Like I went to a high school that had like the city that it was in or near has a higher per capita or has the highest per capita population of Filipino people outside of Manila.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like we have there's a lot of like Asian influence. The school I went to, because I went to Berkeley for college, it's like majoritively Asian. So there's a lot more Asian culture where in the Bay than in other places.
Yeah.
That when you were saying like, there's like black people everywhere in the South. It's not really the case in California so much.
Nah.
There are places where there are, but not like.
I remember going through an area. It was like, I don't know. It was like Compton or some shit. Like I don't know. It was some area, and it was on the west. It was outside of San Francisco. I don't remember exactly where it was.
It's probably like.
And she announced, she's like, Robert, I would like you to know that the people here consider this the ghetto. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, this isn't a ghetto. This looks like the suburbs.
Yeah, that's another thing about California is like the ghettos are harder to identify. It's probably like Richmond. It's probably.
So, something like that. It was just like funny to me. Or people in Austin, that still in Austin to this day, people are like, oh, the east side, like that's the ghetto. And I'm like, get the fuck out. Dude, there is no ghetto in Austin. There is no place in Austin that I feel unsafe at night walking around. Like, not like, and like, not, I mean, I've been to fucking Lakewood in Atlanta. I've been to fucking New Orleans and seen some shit, but like, you just mind your business and move on, you know? It's like, but it's ghetto. It's like, no, it's just not suburban and lily white.
Yeah, that.
Right there. Yeah, diverse populations. Like it's I don't know. I always connect with people because of food. Real super super diverse when it comes to cuisine. So anybody I run into, like you said, mentioned Filipino, which I'm not extremely familiar with the cuisine, it's like we got. It's like whatever. They're like we eat chicken's feet. I'm like, well, I'm eating chicken's feet today. Let's bring it on. Like whatever it is. It's like trying to figure out how other people interact in their culture through food. Like killing you right there.
No.
And when I press in there, there's no referred pain anywhere else. You don't feel it somewhere else.
No.
How's that feel now?
Yeah, the first time I've been able to do that in months without feeling like I was gonna die. Yeah, it's
And I don't think this is like necessarily the root of it
Yeah.
per se, but like working on that.
but yeah, it's like so usually when I do this it's sharp. Like I'll bend forward, it's like a sharp pain, and now it's like I can do it and not be like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're hilarious. By the way, I can see why you do well on YouTube.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Define well. Like yeah.
I can see why it works for you. How about that? Does it work?
I mean, so I think the problem is my sense of work is like almost like virality
Okay.
and like videos with millions of views or whatever. It's like it's much easier to just be myself and make content and let things continue to grow
Yeah.
than it is to try to like put on a facade and act like somebody I'm not.
Sure.
Like I'm at a point now where I've hired somebody to do graphic design and they're making like thumbnail images. And the thumbnail images, because it's the thing you see to click on something of interest,
Yeah.
like it's a huge deal if you don't have them.
Yeah.
So it's like just doing things like that to be able to continue to build. I don't really use virality as like a benchmark.
No.
I'm just like, are more people listening to what you say? Cool. Okay. Are more people subscribe? Cool. All right. They just keep building it. Don't, you know. The other part was because I'm verbal and then bodywork can be isolating if you like don't have a, well, what was my social life like during COVID? Exactly. So I would do a podcast. And what it did is it allowed me at least once a week to have a conversation with somebody that was interesting or whatever to take advantage of the fact that I was verbal. So you just try to play to your strengths.
Yeah. Super grateful.
Yeah, I'm going to close this down real quick. Give me 1 second.